famous, they're famous town, but you can come up there. That's the school.
All right, well, I'm here with Jordan Cox. Jordan, great to see you. It's been an eventful week, obviously, with Sunday. Well, just over 5 minutes now until the toss. But if you keep your eyes on the big screen, a little bit earlier on, we caught up with Glamorgan's Manus Labuschagne and Essex's Jordan Cox. All right, well, I'm here with Jordan Cox. Jordan, great to see you. It's been an eventful week, obviously, with Sunday's game. Let's reflect on that. A great team performance, a great win against Middlesex. How did you see it?
Yeah, obviously to get the first win of our campaign was a positive. Obviously, lads played really well, especially Michael Pepper. To get his first professional 100 and to get it in T20 is pretty awesome. We're hoping that continued support throughout the team will continue into this game, and hopefully someone else gets 100 tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. And you've had a few days, obviously, together as a squad to prepare for tonight. I'm guessing the mood in the camp is quite buoyant at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. I think we love playing here. Obviously having home support is always a positive. So to get as many wins as we can at home will be very crucial at the back end of the tournament.
Sure. And looking ahead specifically to tonight, obviously Essex we've just touched upon are coming in with confidence from that game. Glamorgan themselves, a couple of wins themselves, now obviously winning at Lord's last night. Do you look too much at what opposition are doing, or is it solely focusing in on themselves?
I think it's, if we play our best cricket, there's probably not many teams that are going to beat us. So obviously whatever they're doing is cool, but we're going to be looking to stick to what we've been doing, stick to our processes, our plans, and execute our skills. But we never look at other teams. You always concentrate on yourself, personally and as a team.
And with games coming thick and fast, momentum's often spoken about, especially in this format. How important is it for you as
massive.
players?
Oh, it's absolutely massive. I find when you're in form, let's say we're batting, batters always want to have game after game after game when you're scoring runs. So to have this little period off, we've had I think 3 or 4 days, maybe a bit more than that. So Michael now scored 100 last week. He's now going to have to get back in and start back on 0, which will be the hardest thing. But no, for sure, games come thick and fast here. It's obviously a long competition, but every game is crucial.
We say games are coming thick and fast. We're obviously just under a week until the next game after tonight. Does that put added pressure on you as a playing group to make sure that we're on the right end of the result this evening?
Oh, I understand what you're saying, but I don't like to think too far ahead. I like to think of tonight, if we get this win, this is awesome. But then also, if we don't win, how can we change that? What's going on? What's happening? Why are we losing games of cricket? We've got such a strong depth of squad. Why are we losing these games? So, either way, if we win or lose, it'll be back to the drawing board either way.
Sure. And Friday night, under the lights, Vitality Blast 2020 at Chelmsford, Fortress Chelmsford. Doesn't get much better than that. You must be really excited to get out there.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be my first game.
Yeah.
Pretty much under the lights at Chelmsford. Friday night will be pretty cool. So, looking forward to it. I've heard a lot about the crowds. Hopefully, they're on our side tonight.
Absolutely. Well, Jordan, I wish you all the very best tonight. Here's hoping for a good result and go well.
Thank you very much.
Well, I'm here with Glamorgan and Australia all-round at Manus Labuschagne. Manus, good to see you. Welcome to Chelmsford. Coming in off the back of 2 wins, there must be a lot of confidence within the Glamorgan setup right now.
Yeah, we're going really well. We've got a really tight-knit group, and we've started the tournament well. Obviously, we had a really close loss to Surrey that first game, but we've bounced back really well, and had 2 wins on the bounce and coming with a lot of momentum today.
And you talk about momentum when games come thick and fast, especially in the Vitality Blast format. How important is momentum?
Well, I think when you're playing games so regularly and with such short breaks, I think it's a lot. It builds a lot of confidence. We played last night and then we're back here, hopefully putting another great performance together, and you just kind of build and build and build, and before you know it, you're 8 games deep in the tournament. If you can get yourself, 5 to 6 wins from 8, I think that puts you in a really good spot.
And people talk quite frequently about how the game evolves, and for someone who's so experienced, played all around the world, over the last couple of years, what have you really noticed in the game that's really progressed as such?
Oh, I think the T20 game and even the one-day game has just progressed into a different method of play. I think teams are going a lot harder up top and probably willing to sacrifice more wickets up top for runs. You see that in many teams now. They've got the strikers in the top three. Sort of the middle is for the guys to hold it together and then go hard again at the end. And I think that's just what's happened around all cricket now. I think there's very few teams that still operate with that traditional sort of opening and wide ball as the guy that bats through and gets 100 off 60. I think the openers and the top order is really there to have impact in the first 6 overs especially, but then the first 10.
And looking ahead specifically to tonight, we've just spoken obviously Glamorgan coming in, having won the last 2. Essex are obviously coming in, having had a good performance against Middlesex themselves last Sunday. It's set up to be a cracker. What are you expecting tonight?
Yeah, first time here at the ground at Chelmsford, so it's an interesting ground. It's obviously quite small. The ball flies here, so it's similar to where we played last night at Lords, to be honest. We had a real short side, 58-metre boundary to one side, and they were none for 107, and we restricted them to 170. So I think, once again, I think wickets are really important on small grounds. You need to keep trying to be taking wickets, because if you're not taking wickets, you're going to go for runs.
Manus, I really appreciate your time. Enjoy it tonight and go well.
Thank you very much.
Well, we're out here in the middle, ready for the coin toss. I'm joined by our 2 umpires for this evening, as well as the 2 captains for Glamorgan, Kieran Carlson, and of course Essex, Simon Harmer. Have we done the top?
No, we're about to do it.
Simon has the coin, up it goes. Heads is called by Kieran. Tails it is. Simon, I'll borrow you in a second. Simon, you've won the toss. What are you going to do and why?
We're going to have a look to have a bowl. We know to use wicket, but we think it'll get better as tonight goes on. And hopefully we can restrict them and chase down like we did on Sunday.
A great day on Sunday. This week being a positive one, I'm sure, in camp.
Yeah, it's been good to get a few days of training in. It was a quick turnaround from the 4-day stuff. Good to get a win on Sunday, but an important game against a good side who won last night, so we need to make sure that we're at our best.
And team news for Essex tonight, any change?
One change, unfortunately, Ben Allison misses out and Shane Snater comes back into the team.
Harmy, go well tonight. Thanks for your time. Kieran, I'll borrow you just for a quick word. Welcome back to Chelmsford. You've lost the toss. Does it matter much for you?
Look, I think it's going to be a really good wicket, and obviously it's a really high-scoring ground, so it's just about us trying to put a total up there that's kind of challenging, and hopefully we can defend it.
And you're coming in now off the back of 2 wins yourself, confidence high, good buzz around the Glamorgan squad.
Yeah, we've started pretty well, and yeah, a bit of confidence going in, but it's one of these competitions you've got to keep turning up, and yeah, I mean, it's always a nice place to come and play a cricket, and hopefully it's a good game for the fans.
And team news for Glamorgan tonight, any change from last night?
No, unchanged team, going in the same.
Kieran, appreciate your time. Go well tonight. Thank you. Well, there you have it. That concludes the toss. Essex have won the toss and will bowl first tonight. Now, keep your eyes fixed on the screen as we rewind a year and we have a look at some of the highlights from Essex v Glamorgan from last year.
Oh, Carlson does get hold of that one now. Is this it? North East goes long and gets the maximum. Again, North East hangs high, Walters after it, but he's not going to get it. One bounce over the rope for another boundary. Carlson finds a good angle to get the ball away, and Snaters one bounce 4. It's made all the difference to his figures. That's gone high. Carlson smashes it over. Big swing on the ball. Carlson goes high and handsome. It's gone high, but it hasn't gone far. Walters underneath it. Got time to make a cup of tea before he takes that one. Well, he's gone high. Walters underneath it again, has plenty of time. And they get it. Carlson with a huge heave-ho gets an under edge. Right in the block hole. And that is really well played by Root on this track. Well, Cook's thought of it and he sent it.
Pace. He's gone for the quicker ball.
Cook's gone high, but he hasn't gone long, and again Walter is underneath it, and again it's the Walter Harmer duo. Root goes high, but he hasn't gone long. Man underneath it, it is Snater, and yet again Matt Critchley's golden arm works wonders for the Eagles. Van der Houten goes long, goes high, goes handsome.
If he keeps it there, slow balls, so far so good.
And he's gone. Final ball goes for the single, and that is a very good final over from Sam Cook. Das has gone first ball. Oh, well, 2 into Pepper. Nimble now in earlier than expected. Indeed, there's a first slip in place now. I think Sam Northeast. Oh, Feroz Kushi's gone for a shot, and that's gone for a 6. Well, Kushi starting off in style. Oh, again. Kushi treating Van Houten with absolute disdain. Well, Rymel now opening his shoulders to get the boundary off the first ball. Kushi strike now. Kushi once again goes huge.
But you've got to capitalise on it.
Didn't get hold of that. Rymel's gone. 3rd wicket down. Feroz Kushi finally finds his line and puts him in. Anything like yours as Kushi tries to squeeze it through and manages it for a boundary off the first ball. And there is the half century for Feroz Kushi. Oh, there goes another one. Walter goes high, but he hasn't gone handsome this time. An outside edge.
It's going to be fine for the Eagles.
It's gone. That is a brilliant catch from Van der Houten.
They've got their run rate.
We'll take 6 off the next one. Archery corner. Somerset 14 off 8. Surrey 12 off 8. And after 8 games. Jamie McElroy spoils the party. 41 off just 15 or 16 balls. So 1 ball left of his 3rd over. It's gone. Buttleman only needs 1 ball to finish things off. Essex have won by 4 wickets.
Well, a couple of special presentations before the game this evening. First of all is to announce the PC Player of the Month for the month of May, and that goes to our very own Jordan Cox. Jordan picked the likes of David Beddingham, Liam Dawson and Keaton Jennings to take the award, and Chair Anu Mahindru KC joins us on the outfield to present Jordan with his award. In addition to that, Jordan's also been named as the club's WeFinanceAnyCar.com May Player of the Month, with 58% of the votes going his way. Rory Monday from our partners We Finance Any Car will present the award there. Rory's also joined by Alan Whittam, who voted for Jordan on our club website, and he's the winner of our signed shirt. Congratulations to you, Alan.
Congratulations. Brilliant.
We're going into teams. Jordan, I'll borrow you again. Jordan, I'll borrow you just for a second. I know time's precious right now. We spoke a little bit earlier. It was an incredible month for you personally. Runs galore. You look like you're really enjoying your cricket with Essex right now.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it's a great place to play cricket, and obviously the boys up there, don't get much gratitude for this, but they've been awesome to, support us as a team, but support me individually has been awesome. So I've really enjoyed it.
And the sun's out right now, but the lights will be on shortly. Friday night at Fortress Chelmsford. Doesn't get much better. You ready?
Oh, who's not? Let's go.
Go well tonight, Jordan. Congratulations again. Please put your hands together for Essex, Jordan Cox. Well done, mate.
Cheers.
Well, if we keep our eyes on the big screen, we'll have a look at the 2 lineups for this evening's clash. Starting with our visitors, Glamorgan, number 97, Eddie Byron. Number 5, Kieran Carson. Number 16, Sam Murphy. Number 33, Manus Labuschagne. Number 41, Colin Ingram. Number 46, Chris Cook. Number 88, Dan Dalford. Number 64, Tim Van Gutten. Number 11, Andy Gordon. Number 3, Mason Frank. Number 35, Jamie McElroy. And now your Essex lineup for this evening. Number 17, Alan Roskington. Number 64, Dean Elgar. Number 19, Michael Pepper. Number 77, Jordan Cox. Number 22, Paul Walter. Number 20, Matt Critchley. Number 95, Daniel Sands. Number 11, and captain, Simon Harmer. Number 99, Luke Benkenstein. Number 29, Shane Slater. Number 14,
Each match is played by two teams of 11 players. Some are batters, some are bowlers, and there's one wicket-keeper. Both teams have a chance to bat and bowl. Look out for the coin toss. That's how they decide which team bats or bowls first. Each team has 20 overs to score as many runs as possible. The team with the most runs wins the game. 1 over is made up of 6 good deliveries from the bowler. To score runs, batters hit the ball and run between the stumps. If the ball reaches the boundary, it's 4 runs, and if it gets there without bouncing, that's a 6. While the batting team is scoring runs, the bowling team are trying to stop them and get the batters out by taking wickets. A few ways batters can be out are bowled, caught, run out, stumped, and LBW. Watch out for signals from the umpires, 4s, 6s, wickets, and these when a bad delivery has been bowled. Bad deliveries add runs to the batting team's score, and the bowler must bowl an extra ball. If you see the umpire doing this, the next ball is a free hit, and the batter cannot be out, bowled, caught, LBW, or stumped. And those are all the basics you need to know to get behind your team in this year's Vitality Blast competition.
hard, it's not impossible. Tell them there's no limit, I'm unstoppable. Stop myself and guilt, then it's possible. Nobody else will play the fool. Baby, I was born just to break the rules. Stop the water for the money and fill up my pool. Not my morals or my dignity, we keep it cool. Just to work for the system, use you like a tool. How efficient do we use ourselves? That's like the story you're telling someone else's tales. All that chit chat will make you feel. Try worry less and really worry about yourself. I learned the hard way would damage health. Listen to that voice within, gotta know yourself. Don't worry about a thing, everything is going well. Let enter my inner child, I've gotta tell you something else. All the pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel sane. Don't act blind if you're blessed with the vision. Then you've got to watch signs and your gut tells you everything. See this in time and trust your intuition. It will guide you on the mission. You'll be better than you've ever been. If you're blessed with the vision, got to watch signs and your gut tells you everything. Just trust your intuition. It will guide you on the mission. You'll be better than you've ever been. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel sane. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel. All that pain in your brain will make you feel sane.
Eagles return to action next week for our next Friday night under the lights against Essex Sharks. The final tickets for this match have now been released as soon as possible to avoid disappointment. members of our crowd who have made our guard of honour this evening. Massive welcome to you guys. Make sure you're all waving your flags. And it's time to welcome two of our furry friends. Please put your hands together. It's Egg and Emily.
And they're going to be closely followed by our 4 flag bearers tonight. And a rather important shout out to our bell ringer this evening, Mr. Gary Griffiths, celebrating a rather big birthday up there, sir. Very happy 70th to you, Gary. Have a fantastic evening with us tonight. Give that bell a ring.
Sam Cook has sent him all the way back, and that is a wonderful hat-trick. Fabulous wrists from Jordan Cox, and that's gone all the way for 6.
It is slower ball, take a punt, pop it downtown and say thank you very much.
Catch it! Chance to catch, that is excellent! Again from the Essex skipper Simon Harmer.
Eddie the Eagle, the mascot, is out there as well. Bright blue skies above us. There is a stiffish breeze blowing around the ground this evening, but Essex winning the toss. They do like a chase, do Essex, and well, they've come up short in a couple of games where they've batted first, but obviously then chasing against Middlesex got the job done, so clearly they like a chase.
Yeah, I fancy that. You know, looking at if you won one chasing and you've lost 2 up front, you're going to stick with what works. And Glamorgan have done pretty well actually. They have won when they've batted first, so the only time they batted first. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one, and as in all T20s, Essex will be striving to get 2 or 3 wickets in that first 6 overs, and Glamorgan will be hoping to be around that 45-50 mark and very little disruption to their batting lineup.
Well, it is a long old campaign, but Essex, a couple of defeats on that Southwest tour, which I did with them at the back end of last week, losing quite badly to Gloucestershire on a tricky old surface, and then at Taunton against Somerset they took a vital wicket with a fantastic catch by Simon Harmer, but all that did was bring Lewis Gregory, the Somerset skipper, to the wicket, and he took them home, and they timed it really nicely, did Somerset. They just got quiet a little bit in the middle of the innings where you thought they might not get home, they might be struggling here, but they showed why they're champions, and as you probably know more than anyone else, that they're a tough cookie to crack down at Taunton.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking earlier, weren't we, about the Southern Division and how how strong it is. And Somerset, Surrey, Sussex at home, Essex, Kent, formidable sides. Middlesex are the one side that have started off with 3 losses, but you can perm quite a few teams to go through that quarter-final and possibly go on and win it.
Well, as we know, finals day last year, it was all 4 Southern teams, wasn't it, who made it, so dominating in the end on finals day. Can tell you in the World Cup, incidentally, T20 World Cup, Canada have beaten Ireland by 12 runs in New York. We're going to get underway here. It's Aaron Beard bowling from the Graham Gooch end. He's in and he bowls to Eddie Byram, and that goes past the outside edge and through to wicketkeeper Rossington. Just looking out there, actually, I think that might be Daniel Sams. It is Daniel Sams who's open from that far end. Scoreboard has it as Aaron Beard. Beard did walk to that end as well, but it is Daniel Sams who's opening from the Graham Gooch end, and the first delivery goes past the outside edge of Eddie Byram's bat. Left arm over from Sams. Left arm bat Byram, one slip in, it is the captain Simon Harmer, and here's Sams in, running towards us now into Byram, who just pushes out to the offside, and there is no run there. 0 for 0 as people continue to come in through the entrance here, through the gateways, pick up their liquid refreshments and make their way to their seats. Perfect evening for watching cricket. Quick turnaround for Glamorgan though, but I guess you don't mind a quick turnaround if you're coming off the back of a win.
Exactly, you want to keep playing when you're winning. So yeah, they'll be looking to post a good first 6 overs here. It's interesting looking at the field here, both third man and fine leg up, and a little bit of swing maybe.
Sams into Byron. Glamorgan yet to get off the mark. Byron comes down the wicket and very airy shot, goes past the outside edge and through to Rossington once again. So Sams has already found his line and his length, and Byram clearly very keen to field bat on ball very early.
Yeah, it's interesting when the ball comes in, first few, hits his length, it's got a little bit of lateral movement, and then when it stops, when the slower ball and the Yorker comes in, and it's a bit of limitation at the minute, he quite fancies his chances with that slip in as well.
Might be a bit of anxiety from Byram. Got a first ball duck last night in what ultimately was a successful chase for Glamorgan, so he's yet to get off the mark. And he's facing up to Sams once again, shuffles down the wicket and drives out to the offside as a diving stop by the man at extra cover, and there'll be no run there, so Byram yet to get off the mark.
Yeah, and I know it's still very early, but four dot balls is not great. When you start off, you can feel the old pressure mounting as a batter, so yeah, something's going to give here. I think that even that last shot coming down the wicket, he's thinking boundaries. Got to get a boundary in this over as early as this.
It's funny, isn't it, even as you say 4 dots, because it's such a short format, you almost feel like you're chasing the game if you're not scoring runs off every ball. Sams, left arm over, in again to Byram, who goes for the reverse flip over the top of the wicket-keeper, and all it does is strike his leg stump. And a first ball duck for Byram last night, a 5-ball duck for him this evening. I know he was very keen to get bat on ball early, I know he was keen to get the scoreboard ticking over, but trying that sort of shot this early on when he hadn't really felt bat on ball properly just smacked a little bit of desperation, and Glamorgan 0 for 1.
Absolutely. I mean, you played and missed 2 or 3 times outside off stump. You've come down the wicket with a full face and couldn't get that away. Well, I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll try and flip one over a fine leg. Obviously the option was there because it's big risk and reward now, and with fine leg up, he'll come in here thinking, well, if I'd got something on it, it was 4, but still early, isn't it? Early to be playing those kind of shots.
It's the modern game, and I'm sure he'll go back to the dugout, get a slap on the back. They'll say unlucky, he won't get any criticism whatsoever, because that's how the game is played these days. What it does though is bring to the wicket a man who is in form for Glamorgan, and that is Sam Northeast, off the back of a couple of 60s and a triple century as well in the championship earlier on this season as well. So he's a man who's got runs under his belt this season in both formats which they've played so far. So the left-hander is out, and that brings right-handed Northeast in. So shuffle round off the field here, seeing whether Essex, deep backward square. Third is up on the edge of the circle. Deep backward point on the fence as well. So Sams in, first ball for Northeast, full delivery, and Northeast just drops his bat down. There'll be no run there, and there's a rarity for T20 cricket. It's a wicket maiden. Essex, having won the toss and put Glamorgan in, have got Glamorgan at 0 for 1.
Yeah, it's a great start from Essex, not just the maiden, but getting the wicket as well. It just puts a handbrake on a little bit, doesn't it, if you can put a handbrake on in this format of the game, but certainly it does stop the big shots, but we'll have probably about 6 or 7 balls here, and then Glamorgan will be in their stride, I would think. It's all about trying to get a boundary or two each over, isn't it?
Well, Kieran Carlson has been watching from the non-striker's end for the entirety of that Daniel Sams over. It was he and North East who repaired the early damage last night, half centuries each, so they find themselves back together very early once again. Simon Harmer is going to open from this Sir Alistair Cook end. Right arm around, he's in and bowling to Carlson, and Glamorgan are up and running with a not completely timed off drive, which goes up to mid-off on the edge of the circle. Carlson's off and running, and Glamorgan 1 for 1.
Yeah, looking to get that through the extra cover area there. Was he mid-off on the edge of the circle? An extra cover quite tight, didn't quite time that.
It's Jordan Cox at mid-off. Harmer in and bowling to North East, who flips that one in the air and it bounces just short. I think that's Dean Elgar. It is Dean Elgar at short mid-wicket, just bouncing in front of him, but it was aerial from North East. And Harmer is ready once again very quickly. 1 for 1 Glamorgan. And again it's in the air from North East, but wide of Elgar this time, and enables him to come through and take the single. 2 for 1.
Yeah, good lines by Simon Harmer. He's got his deep mid-wicket, hasn't he? And he's got a long on. Sweep probably is your 4 ball, isn't it?
Carlson facing up now. Harmer into him, steps away as Carlson tries to cut that one, but no timing, and it ends up in front of the wicket rather than the backward cut that he was looking for. And there's no run once again. Harmer got a little bit of tap late on in the innings against Somerset a week ago. Whirling away, reverse sweep attempt this time from Carlson. Rolls up his arm and drops for Rossington to be able to field, and again no addition to the score. A couple of low flying pigeons just in front of us at the Tom Pearce stand. There's Harmer in, that's a full delivery, it's a full toss in fact, driven away by Carlson, but only at the expense of a single as it hits Cox on the edge of the circle. End of the over from Simon Harmer, and Glamorgan, having been put in, are 3 for 1. 2 to Carlson and 1 to Sam North East, and we're 2 overs into the power play already.
I have to say, I probably won't be the first person from an away side to say how good a bowler Simon Harmer is. To bowl off spin around the wicket in the power play on a good wicket like this usually is really difficult, and he held his line and length really well there. As I said, there's no sweep man, there's just 2 people on just behind square on the leg side, and that's where I would be looking to go to him, but he holds his line and length so well that difficult customer.
Interesting to see the differing tactics as you go around the country with differing teams. Essex are going to make a change straight away here. Aaron Beard is going to come on from the Graham Gooch end, just the 1 over of Daniel Sams, which was a successful one for him. As he comes in and bowls now, does Beard. Carlson pushes that one into the onside, but Beard very quickly across the field on his follow through. I was watching last weekend, Gloucestershire and Somerset both elected to bowl their opening bowlers, give them 3 overs and keep 1 in reserve, but Essex seemed to favour the continually rolling their bowling changes.
Yeah, it's captain's choice really. I mean, a lot of batters like to face the same bowler 2 or 3 overs, but it's difficult, isn't it, coming on for 6 balls and then off.
So they tell me. Here's Beard into Carlson once again. Carlson gets one that flicks the pad down the leg side. He was looking to put that into the flats away to the left hand side was Carlson, gets nothing on it, and it trickles through to Rossington off the pad, and there is
no run.
Yeah,
that's 11 dot balls and we're in the 3rd over. That's a poor start from Glamorgan for sure.
It's pressure as well, isn't it? Tony Cotty, former Glamorgan player from BBC Radio Wales, with myself, Glenn Speller, and we'll be hearing from Nick Gledhill in a couple of overs time. Scorer David Jackman's in the box with us tonight as well, as Beard into Carlson once again. Beard bowls and Carlson tries to swing that one away on the onside. He's got something on it, but not really too much timing, and not gone where he was hoping it would go, but they've come through for a couple of runs. Nevertheless, 5 for 1, still searching for their first boundary, and we're in the 3rd over.
Yeah, now searching as well. There hasn't been any strong cricket shots so far from Glamorgan. The wicket was a little ramp shot. That one from Kieran was a lot of swing with very little ding at the end of it. It just trickled down to fine leg and was cut off. So yeah, I'd be looking to feel a ball on the middle of the bat soon.
Beautiful blue skies here. The sun continues to beat down. Beard is in, and Carlson gets all of this time, but he's only going to pick out the man at deep backward square on a couple of bounces. So only the single. 6 for 1. This is decent from Aaron Beard so far. He showed up really well at Bristol and at Taunton last week on that away trip, where not many Essex players came away with anything to write home about. Luke Benkenstein fared well at Bristol as well. Decent innings from Dean Elgar down at Taunton also, but ultimately in 2 losing efforts, but in a fantastic comeback on Sunday to beat Middlesex with that memorable century from Michael Pepper. Beard is in and bowling to North East, who just works that one in front of square on the onside. It's a long chase round from the man at deep backward square leg. They've taken 2, and that is all they will get, and the score moves up to 8 for 1 in the 3rd over here on BBC Essex and BBC Radio Wales.
But that was a controlled cricket shot. That nearly went for 4 as well, you know, from Sam North East, and I think that's the first one really. It's quite frantic from Glamorgan, and haven't been able to lay bat on ball so far.
Beard turns, finishing up this over. The 3rd of the innings is in, and that's down the leg side, and it will be wided. Slight pause, whether the umpire thought they might have touched something on the way through, but it didn't, so a little bit of extra work for Aaron Beard to do. First extra of the bowler's fault to come. Just needs to readjust his sights somewhat. General hubbub around the ground. I mentioned that stiffish breeze which is blowing around. It's keeping a slight chill in the air, but it is warm enough for shirt sleeves and short sleeves as well. As Beard, with his white boots on, comes in once again, and North East just works that one square of the wicket on the onside, and it'll just be the single. And so at the end of 3 overs of the power play here, Glamorgan, having been put in by Essex, have got themselves to 10 for 1, and we still await the first boundary of this innings as well.
Yeah, excellent start from Essex. First impressions on the pitch, it looks that it's a little bit sticky. It doesn't look as if it's flying through, so maybe it is a bit difficult. A lot of balls have hit the sticker, haven't they, with Glamorgan, so maybe there's a little bit in it for the bowler, but still it's an outstanding start from Essex. And this 4th over, I think Glamorgan will be targeting at least a couple of boundaries.
Well, Shane Snater's going to come on to replace Simon Harmer after just his first over. Snater, who's the one change to the Essex side this evening, is in for Ben Allison. It's the first change they've made in 4 games, in fact, of Essex. And so Snater, who's been rested for the first 3 matches, still sporting that mullet, shaven down either side of his head, long at the back. Just a slight adjustment in the field. They want to send deep backward square a bit further round, so he's not quite square of the wicket now. Snater is in and bowling, and that is swung away in the air by North East, but again won't find the boundary. A couple of bounces down there, and it is that man at deep backward square who tidies up, and they come through for a single. 11 for 1.
Yeah, again, you know, lack of timing again, wasn't it, from Sam North East? Still trying to find their way.
Sure, his eyes would have lit up at one on middle and leg as well, which he thought he could just pull round the corner, but obviously finding timing a little bit tricky at the moment. Snater turns, towel flapping in the rear of his waistband, in and bowls to Carlson. Carlson gives it the big heave-ho and gets nothing on it, and it's taken by Rossington, standing up behind the stumps to the seamer.
Yeah, good take that, wasn't it? There was a lot of bat and flurried in front of him there, and he kept his eye on it well there, Adam Rossington. Nice take.
Just keeps the batter back in his crease, doesn't it? Can't cheat and take strides down the wicket if you're going to stand up. Obviously it carries its own risk. Get a thick edge, it's past the keeper before he knows it. Snater turns, in and bowls to Carlson. Carlson gets this one, but it's gone straight up in the air. It may just drop over the shoulder of the man at long on, and indeed it does, but there's a good stop down just under the lip of the Tom Pearce stand, and they come through for a couple of runs. That was agonising for Aaron Beard, because he thought it was going to drop into his hands, but it just kept going and going, and in the end they pick up a couple of fortuitous runs. 13 for 1.
Again, not timed, you know, a lot of effort in that as well. Maybe it is a little bit sticky, this pitch, but kept him interested, didn't it? Kept Aaron Beard interested, over his shoulder.
He gamely gave chase, but it's one of those just out of his reach. Snater, ball back in hand. Decent over this from him so far. Carlson trying to find the boundary. Flicks that one away, and the onside again. He just lobs up in the air, but evades the fielder, who's Paul Walter, at short fine leg, and they can come through for the single. 14 4-1. They are playing a little bit with fire here, Glamorgan, trying to find those big shots. But as you've already mentioned a couple of times, Tony, clearly timing the ball is an issue out there.
Yeah, so many balls have hit the sticker, haven't they? You know, when they've been trying to heave them away to the leg side.
Snater. A couple of balls to go. In and bowls, and that's cut away in the air and taken. Taken by the man at third on the edge of the circle. Sam Northeast has to go. I fancy Lee probably thought I was going to race away for 4 runs, and it's taken very low down in front by the man at short third, just on the edge of the circle there. Round about sort of shin height, he's taken it in the end. Glamorgan have lost their second wicket. They're 14 for 2, and they are in all sorts of trouble right at the start of this one, and we are only in the 4th over.
Yeah, a little bit unlucky there, really. You had third man up and fine leg up, and there was a little bit of width, first little bit of width from Shane Snater there, and he's cut it. He's actually timed that quite well, but picked him out straight into, well, I wouldn't say the bread basket. He had to dive forward, but it was definitely straight at him. So decent catch, and again, a really good start from Essex, and Glamorgan really need to put a partnership together now.
I just fancy the moment he timed it, he probably thought, well, that's 4 runs, and he turns round and he finds it's gone straight to the man. So he took it about shin height in the end, just had to dive forward, but it's a good catch on the edge of the circle there, and Essex have their second wicket of the evening, and Sam Northeast has to go. It's 60, back-to-back 60s actually, so has to go, and Glamorgan 14 for 2, and that brings Manus Labuschagne to the wicket for Glamorgan, who are in the power play still, I will remind you. There's still 2 overs and a ball to go of the power play.
I wouldn't have thought there'd be too many occasions where he's coming in and he's gone for two noughts, and he's and a potential of 3 here, so that wouldn't have happened too often in his career, I'm sure.
Matt Critchley with the catch, incidentally, on the edge of the circle there. Safe pair of hands. So Manus Labuschagne is the new man at the wicket. He's facing up to Shane Snater here and just opens the face, and this time third is down on the boundary, and they come through for a single. Another successful over for Essex, and Glamorgan are 15 for 2 after 4 overs here, so not even going at 4 and over, yet to strike their first boundary. And well, you say they've got to do a bit of a rebuilding job, but they've still got 2 overs of the power play to go, so they've still got to try to take advantage of that as well, Tony.
It's been a grind, isn't it, for them? It's really difficult. I mentioned at the start, no batting side wants to be 3 down in the power play, but I also mentioned you want to be up around 45 to 50 minimum, and Glamorgan a mile away from that at the moment, so need two reasonably decent overs here, but ultimately don't want to lose wickets either.
Another change of bowling for Essex at the Graham Gooch end. Labuschagne's back on strike, having taken a single from the last ball of Shane Snater's over. Paul Walter, tall Paul, is going to come on. Left arm over seamer. Morgan 15 for 2, and we're just starting the 5th over here. Walter is in and bowls, and Labuschagne gets a thick outside edge to that one, but what it will do is inadvertently find the first boundary of the evening. The man at deep third was very wide, and that went very fine. 4 runs, it doesn't matter how they come for Glamorgan.
No, a decent shot, wasn't it? It was a decent shot, a little bit of width, and he's obviously a top quality batsman, and just used the pace of the ball and went through about third slip, didn't it, where third slip would be, and total control. So good start, 5 off 2 from Labuschagne. 19
for 2 is the score. First boundary of the evening. Walter in and bowls once again. That gets high on Labuschagne, who tries to cut a ball. She's very close to his body. Rossington dives away. Can't get gloves on it though, and it goes for 4 more runs, but he's a very, very lucky man.
Yeah, that looked as if there was a bit of back glove on that, wasn't it? It came off very slowly off the bat. Bounced a little bit from Paul Walter. Decent ball. And yeah, it took him a little bit by surprise with the bounce, and just out of Adam Rossington's reach.
So 2 boundaries to start this Paul Walter over, the 5th of the innings, on BBC Essex and BBC Radio Wales. As Walter turns, running in towards us, into Labuschagne once again, wide, very wide that one, and Labuschagne just dabs it down to deep third, where Dean Elgar emerges from under the lip of the Tom Pearce stand and tidies up, and they come through for a single. 24 for 2, so 9 off the first 3 balls of this over, which is a bit more like it from a Glamorgan perspective.
Yeah, I think lateral movement is they've given that up. I think Essex, you could see Dean Elgar throwing in on the bounce from about 30 yards away to the keeper, so let's soften that ball up, I think, is now the plan of attack.
Yeah, they're going to bring Elgar up now from deep third onto the edge of the circle and send deep backward point out, right on the fence. It's Carlson facing now. And Walter just gathers himself in and bowls. Wide again of Carlson, doesn't get anything on that. Through to Rossington, no damage done, 24 for 2 is the score. Unable to find the boundary, unlike his batting partner.
Well, Essex certainly, they've looked to hit the pitch, haven't they? And we've talked about how difficult it is to time the ball, and Manus Labuschagne's come in and used the pace because he had a bit of width, and all his runs have come down to third man. So it seems that middle of the pitch is where Essex are concentrating.
8 from 12 balls so far for Carlson as he faces up to Walter here. Backward drive behind square on the offside gets him no more than the single. 25 for 2, and Essex have probably got Glamorgan exactly where they want them at the moment, controlling the game. Someone's going to have to come up big for the Welshman. They've got a 2-1 record so far, 2 victories and a defeat, 1 victory and 2 defeats for Essex thus far right at the start of this T20 Blast campaign. Walter is in and bowling to Labuschagne, just takes the pace off that one and works it away on the onside, and they come through for a comfortably taken single. So that's the most expensive over of the innings so far. It's the end of the 5th over, and Glamorgan, having been put into bat here, are 25 for 2. A few words from Tony, and then Nick Gledhill will come in alongside it.
Yeah, well, it's advantage Essex for sure. Glamorgan good over that last one for Glamorgan, 11 off it, which has made it look a little bit better on the scoreboard, but certainly advantage Essex after 5 overs. But Labuschagne on 11 not out, and you know, he wanted that start after his 2-0, so Glamorgan will be pinning their hopes. I'm allowed to say overseas. I think Colin Ingram technically is overseas, but he's obviously a dangerous batter to come in as well. But if Labuschagne can get going, then Glamorgan will be very happy.
Yeah, well, there's good evening, Tony, and there's plenty there actually in that Glamorgan lineup that could cause Essex problems yet, but they just haven't been able to get started, have they, really? Anyway, here's Sam switching ends to the Alistair Cook end, and that's just played up towards mid-on. There's no run there for Labuschagne, who could have been caught behind a short while ago, but he's still there. He's on 11 at the moment, and Kieran Carson, who's really struggled to get going, 9 from 13 balls. And Essex will be very pleased having won the toss on a sunny evening, breezy. Might be quite chilly later on, so 1 or 2 people have bought jackets with them to make sure, and sweaters. That's a well pitched up, slower ball. Good delivery from Sam, who's played away to the offside, and there's a run thought of that isn't there, which certainly Carlson, I think, sent back in the end as the throw came in. And no chance for a run there, and they're still rather becalmed. 26 for 2 in the 6th over, 2 dot balls to start this over. It's been a very good power play for Essex.
Tazi, they've used the pitch, haven't they? You know, it's looked a little bit too paced, but that was the first proper slower ball. And,
yeah.
Very good one it was too.
Used pitch, 200 plus on Sunday afternoon, but looking a bit tougher today. It was a lovely drive down the ground, just beating mid-on's dive, going across to try and stop that, but that was a class shot from Manus Labuschagne there. And that international match-up between Sams and Labuschagne went the way of the Australian test number 3. It was a lovely shot down the ground, that, and he could be really quite an important player here. 30 for 2 as Glamorgan look for a sort of score that they can defend on a pitch that does appear to have a little bit of wear. 30 for 2, 6th over. Floodlights starting to take effect. Sam's up to the wicket bowls, and that just flicked away past the square leg umpire for a single. And yep, he could be important here, Labuschagne, and it's strange seeing him out there. I think it's England, Australia tomorrow night, isn't it, in the World T20. A competition that sort of caught light a little bit after that tremendous match between the United States and Pakistan last night. And to say, a bit of a surprise result today with Canada getting up against Ireland. Canada, one of the lowest rated sides in the competition. So very good for them, not so good for Ireland. It made a bit of a horrible start. But it's going to be interesting to see how that pans out, that competition. And of course it's going to be running alongside the Euros fairly soon. as Sam's up to the wicket bowls. That's a lovely delivery, bit of extra pace there, and Carson, who's really struggling out there, played a rather indeterminate stroke trying to run it down. Probably could have got no more than one if he just hit it just wide of short third man, but really struggling for momentum at the moment. 9 off 14, 31 for 2 in the 6th.
Yeah, I mean, Manus Labuschagne has come in and it's looked a different wicket, hasn't it?
It has, looked very class. It was a lovely drive that, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, he's going at 2 runs a ball at the minute and hasn't really played a shot in anger. He's just timed the ball down the ground and a few down to third man.
Sam's up to the wicket, bowled, slower ball, beautifully executed. And the problems just continue, I'm afraid, for Carlson. He had a wild swing at that, wasn't too close to connecting with it. And it's almost got to a stage where Essex will be making a mental note of, we don't particularly mind if he's going to carry on like this if he stays in for a while. 31 for 2 after 6 overs, 16 to Labuschagne and 9 to Carson, who is struggling out there. Do you think he's just got to adapt the way he's playing and just look to run the ball around for ones rather than playing those wild shots like that, Tony?
Well, it will be different after the power play now, but I will say that it's very rare you see so many balls that are being pitched into the wicket in the power play.
Which is an indication, isn't it?
That it is an old pitch and it is a bit too paced. So Glamorgan might be reassessing what they think a good score is. They might be looking at 160, you know, and thinking anything north of that is a really good score.
Yes, this is going to be a lower scoring game than the one on Sunday afternoon, where the pitch was new and Middlesex actually should have got more. I think they were 203, I think it was. They eventually got, they should have got about 15, at least more than that. Here's the start of the new over, and it's Matt Critchley bowling his leg spin from the Graham Gooch end. That's just played defensively up into the onside. There is a big gap there for a potential single, but that wasn't hit hard enough to get it past the bowler who completed the fielding. But here Labuschagne does hit it a bit harder and it goes out towards Sams at deep mid wicket, and he does get the one. So Carlson back on strike, 32 for 2, but Essex will be pleased with that. 7th over, and as I say, Glamorgan have found it very hard to get away on this used pitch here at Chelmsford. Lovely evening, and Critchley bowls a flatter one, that's cut away down towards Elgar at backward point. We've got a short third man, Benkenstein in there. If you like, I would say 2 third men really. He's quite wide at backward point, and there's a cover and a short fine leg. That's hit uppishly and up towards deep cover, and there's going to be a misfield there. Don't get one, but don't get a run for the misfield. As Beard came in, looked for the catch. He wasn't there for it. Just thought for a moment that if that had enough weight in it, it might have gone to the fence, but it wasn't particularly well timed, and they weren't able to get back for a second run. 33 for 2. Critchley bowls again. Oh, it's a nice piece of bowling, and not much that Labuschagne can do about that. Bit of bounce as well as it went through Rossington.
Yeah. Bit of turn. I think you were a bit harsh on him out there to Beard there. That was a great bit of feeling. Went for the catch, didn't he?
Went for the catch, and but it doesn't quite get there. Ooh. That's another lovely piece of bowling from Critchley. A couple of really good leg breaks at the end of that over. Yeah, 33 for 2. That's a very good start from Critchley. 1 over for 2. Sam's 2 overs, 1 for 5. Some good bowling figures here for Essex today. And Glamorgan's 33 for 2. It has been very hard work in these 7 overs. And as I say, they've got to try and think about, they've got to keep wickets in hand, I guess, and then try and build something. You were talking about 160 could be a pretty good score.
Well, maybe less than that. I mean, that's turned square, 2 of those balls. It's difficult to hit the seamers, and you've got a couple of leggies and Harmer. So, I mean, Glamorgan, they'll be wanting to post a score that they think they can defend. And I would hate to say like 140, 150, but because that is a low score, but when it's turning and too paced, it's not that easy to score.
Benkenstein comes on to bowl. That's hit uppishly and safe again. 1 bounce to deep cover, and there's a single for Carlson. So he runs along to 11. Labuschagne on strike with 17. 34 for 2. Yeah, so Benkenstein is acquitting himself pretty well. Has got a pitch that's going to suit him here for his leg breaks. And he bowls a flatter one, and that one sees an attempt by Labuschagne to work the ball past short third man, but he doesn't make any contact, and it goes through to Rossington. So I think we're going to see 12, quite likely to see 12 overs of spin here, the way this pitch is turning. Benkenstein bowls again. That's a wide outside leg stump. It's doing a little bit more than I thought it would. I have to be honest, because it was flat on Sunday. Just shows what can happen.
Yeah, I don't like saying it's a 140 wicket, because it can make a mockery of it if one batter gets in, but that does look a difficult wicket to score on.
Benkenstein bowls again, holds that one back, hit uppishly, and on the bounce to Harmer. The crowd catch that one. Very good piece of fielding in the end by Harmer. At cover, extra cover. Backward point, short third man, short fine leg. The rest on the boundary. BBC Essex and BBC Radio Wales here at Chelmsford, and that's driven through the mid-off gap for a single by Labuschagne, who signals for something from the dressing room as he completes the run. But it's mainly singles at the moment here for Glamorgan. 36 for 2, Labuschagne 18 and Carson 11.
Unfortunately, singles and dots.
Yeah, not many boundaries. As this one, it was a heave, and it's pretty effective. That's a good shot. That's going to do Carson some good. He's got onto that, and a flat-batted swipe through mid-wicket with, if you like, the outer half of the bat, but he got good bat on it in the end, and he bisected two of the boundary fielders. Nothing that Cox could do about that, running across from deep mid-wicket, and that'll do him some good. It's 40 for 2. And Benkenstein bowls again, and he gets a good one which is fired in and can do not much with it but just play it back down the pitch. And Benkenstein's over completed, and it's not a bad one, just the one boundary from it. 7 runs, 40 for 2 after 8 overs. So they've got up to fives, but it's a question of, well, can they get another 100 runs? That would still probably talk the figure you're talking about there, Tony.
That wicket, I mean, the T20, you can look an absolute idiot if you say it's a 140 wicket, as I said, because one person can get in and actually smash 60 off nowhere, have his day.
Yes.
But it's not easy to get singles, it's not easy to turn the strike around, and also it's not easy to hit boundaries, you know, without taking a big chance like Kieran did there, you know, flat bat. So yeah, it's difficult to score for sure.
Now here's Critchley bowling, and it's a reverse attempted reverse sweep from Labuschagne. Wasn't quite there for the shot, and it just goes down to short third man. That's Benkenstein. There's 2 short third men with Elgar there as well, and there's a short cover and short fine leg, and here he plays a more orthodox little dab shot down to Benkenstein, but with no pace, and that allows him to get through for a comfortable single. So 41 for 2 in the 9th over. Sunshine, floodlights taking effect, a little bit of cloud cover. Lovely evening, so it might be quite chilly a bit later on. As this is, her delivery has bounced, and he's trying to swipe that over mid-wicket, and it bounces. Yeah, Critchley with quite a lot to work with this pitch. Interesting, Harmer coming on so early, of course. I think 2nd over it was, and this is played away through the gap between the wider of the 2 short third men and cover for a single out towards Aaron Beard. And it's 42 for 2, but yes, it's one of those situations where Glamorgan have got enough to sort of make sure that Essex have to work for the runs and take risks. This is hit uppishly but safe. It's a reverse sweep that goes very high off the bat and over Benkenstein at short third man and goes away for 4. And in the end was quite an effective shot, wasn't it? It's 46 for 2.
Yeah, good shot. He's got 2 third men on the edge of the circle, and it's been difficult to strike balls in front of the bat. So he's decided to reverse sweep. Really good shot. Risk and reward, 4 runs.
And cleared the short third man. And here he goes again, and he has much the same sort of result for 4 runs down to the third man boundary. That's a bit of high class batting, isn't it, on a turning pitch, Tony? He sized up his scoring options using all his experience there as Labuschagne, who's gone to 27 off 20 and is a danger to Essex as the Glamorgan 50 comes up at the end of the 9th over. And 2 very similar shots, but both pretty well executed. The second one a little bit squarer than the first, but with a very similar result.
Yeah, what I would say, Labuschagne has gone in. He's the one batter who hasn't looked frantic. He's picked his areas to hit his shots, like the cut down to the third man, the straight drive, and those two reverse sweeps off the leg spinner. And to be fair to him, he's looked in control. The other batters have been looking to overhit, and it's been very difficult because he's got stuck in the pitch.
So here comes the first ball of the new over. That's hit uppishly but just safe over the head of backward point, and it's going down to the rope and goes all the way for 4. 2 fielders converging on that but couldn't stop it. Carson could have been caught at backward point, almost was. It's just over Elgar's head, and then he found that 2 fielders couldn't quite stop the boundary, so it was a double win for him there, and suddenly Glamorgan are moving. 54 for 2. Benkenstein again from the Alistair Cook end, bowls one which is pretty straight, and there's an attempted heave away through the covers by Carson, who has found his range a bit in the last few overs but doesn't make any meaningful contact with that one. Full programme of games, of course, as you'd expect on a Friday night. Benkenstein bowls, and that's a good delivery. That turns and beats them outside the off stump. A lot in it for the spinners here. 54 for 2 in the 10th. I noticed that Will Smead made 68 off 30 balls. Somerset 162 for 3 just into the 17th over against Kent. That one's driven firmly, but straight to cover and no run there. That's at Canterbury. So Somerset heading towards 200. Somerset with a win and defeat so far. One of the favourites, of course, the reigning champions. They've already beaten Essex. That's wide outside the off stump and duly signalled as such. Outside the off stump, there was a lot of debate about the deliveries in the World Cup Super Over last night that were sort of just about wide, or not quite wide, around about off stump, or just outside the off stump. That one hit uppishly, out towards deep extra cover, bounces twice, it's perfectly safe. They're going to come back for a second run, which is definitely there, but hesitation, but he gets back for the second as Carlson. And at least Glamorgan here have got wickets in hand going into the second half of the innings, Tony, and they've just started to get the scoreboard ticking over a bit. 57 for 2 in the 10th. Benkenstein bowls. That's hit away down towards deep backward square leg, and to be fair to Carlson, after a very sticky period, he's actually started to get going here. He's a decent player and just found it hard going early on, but he's got a strike rate now of 82, 23 from 28, but Labuschagne very impressive, 27 from 20, 58 for 2 after 10, and a few words from you, Tony, and then Glenn Speller coming back in. Yeah,
my take on it is how many dot balls there's been and how difficult it's been to hit, is to turn strike with singles, and that the ball is stuck in the pitch for the seamers, and it's turned prodigiously for the leg spinners, and yeah, it's a difficult pitch to score on for sure. A lot of overhitting from Glamorgan, Labuschagne apart, and they've just eked back into potentially getting up to around that 140 mark, which I said I don't like saying 140 is a par score, but you know it's so difficult to turn strike and hit boundaries. So they've just turned the corner a little bit here, Glamorgan.
Yeah, they're just beginning to get motoring, aren't they, a little bit here. Simon Harmer is on from the Graham Gooch end. He's going to be bowling to Kieran Carlson, who's just beginning to find the middle of the bat. He's got 23 so far. Harmer is into him, and Carlson has got all of that and then some. That disappears onto the balcony of one of the retirement apartments at the far end of the ground, bounces off the railings of the balcony and back into the ground. He got all of that and then some, the first 6 of the innings.
Yeah, I have to say that will give him some confidence, because he has been swinging like a rusty gate here and getting 2s and 1s and things, and that one was right out the middle of the bat. So he's stuck in here, Kieran, and hopefully now he'll get his just desserts from a Glamorgan perspective and earn a score here. That those first 6-7 overs, you know, that was tough going for him.
Well, they've had to get the bag of balls out, because I thought that hit the railings of one of the apartment balconies and came back into the ground, but clearly they can't find the ball. Harmer is into Carlson once again, and Carlson has repeated the feat, but this time it's more square, and it's onto the roof of the apartments at deep mid-wicket. A couple of bounces on a few tiles there, and then disappears into someone's garden, and they have to go back for the bag of balls once again. Successive maximums from Kieran Carlson.
Yeah, to be fair, they're proper maximums as well, because that's hit that roof, hasn't it, at deep mid-wicket, and it was still going flat at that stage. That was a big hit, that. And the first one wasn't too shabby either. So, like I said, I think he's earned those 2 off the middle of the bat, because he found it tough going.
Harmer then, successive 6s, is in and bowls, and Carlson this time drives up to long off and pick up a single, and the score moves to 71 for 2. We are in the 11th over, so after a sticky old start, they just couldn't get moving in the power play whatsoever. Glamorgan just beginning to find the range here. As Harmer is in very quickly once again, this time to Labuschagne, who swings and swings hard, and he goes down to long leg. There's one there certainly, and running very quickly as Labuschagne calls Carlson through, because he's running to the danger end, and it's a nicely judged 2 in the end, 73 for 2.
Yeah, this is going to be a big over for Glamorgan. Partnership is growing, and even in T20 cricket, once a little partnership gets going, the runs start to flow, and they've turned this round a little bit. 15
off this over so far as Harmer is in once again. Labuschagne this time doesn't connect with the reverse sweep, and it bounces out. He wasn't sure where that had gone at all, and Paul Walter comes across the field, and there'll be No run there. First dot ball of this Simon Harmer over. He'll just want to get out of it as quickly as possible. As he's into Labuschagne, that's a full toss down the leg side, and Labuschagne just paddles that one round the corner in the air. Walter dives away to his right hand side, but it was past him before he completed the dive. It goes for 4 runs, so that's a really expensive over for Essex and for Simon Harmer. 19 from it, and Glamorgan, after a sticky spell in that power play where they just couldn't get the ball away, do seem to find their range now and have found their timing. They are 77 for 2 off 11, so exactly 7 and over.
Yeah, and especially when you look at 40 off 8, the last 3 overs have realised 37 runs, you know, and we couldn't see that coming, that's for sure, especially when their leg spinners were turning it, you know, past the bat and over the top of the stumps. So it's all about partnerships. All cricket's the same, you know, preaching to the converted really, but once you get a little partnership together and get a couple out the middle of the bat, then things seem to change. So Glamorgan now will be very happy, I think, 77 for 2 off 11, because I still think, you know, anything north of 140 is defendable if you bowl and field well.
Yeah, as Nick was making the point, it's a used pitch. Critchley is on from the Sir Alistair Cook end. In and bowling to Carlson, who swings hard, it's up in the air, he should go, and he is caught by the man just running around from third on the edge of the circle. Well, he's been swinging hard at Carlson. He'd hit successive 6s in the previous over, but this time just gets a top edge for his troubles. Matt Critchley strikes and Carlson goes for 36, 77 for 3.
Another one in the leggy there, just stuck in the pitch. Probably a length ball that on a good wicket would have come onto the bat, and Kieran would be looking out deep mid-wicket probably and getting good contact. Just stuck in the pitch and turned a little and that just looped up in it to short third man. And as I said, you know, it is difficult. They'll be disappointed there because that partnership was just getting him to a very good position, Glamorgan.
36 from 31 for Carlson, 2 4s and 2 6s, and that was after a really slow start where he was continually swinging hard, and if he made contact he could barely get it off the cut strip. Colin Ingram is the new man in for Glamorgan, 77 for 3. It's a timely wicket for Essex, Tony, because as you were just saying, it's about partnerships, and those two really had got going. Labuschagne is still there, real danger for Essex, 33 from 23 for him, with 6 4s in that, but it brings the left-handed Ingram in. So all change, shuffle around in the field for Essex as well. Simon Harmer directing operations out there.
I remember watching Sussex against Glamorgan at Arundel quite a while ago, and 8 for 2 off 4 overs Glamorgan, and England got 100 and they got 220 or something, so dangerous customer.
Well, Critchley's in and bowling to him, and first up Colin Ingram reverse sweeps the leg spinner on the full for 4 runs. 81 for 3. That's not a bad way to come in, although I think he was probably quite sure about it because the delivery in the end he met on the full, but picks up 4.
Yeah, well, I would say it's mostly a preconceived shot, the reverse sweep, so a lot of confidence when the ball is, I suppose, is turning into him, you know, and to reverse hands and get it going down there, it's a proper shot first ball.
He picks up 4 runs. Critchley into him once again. That's well wide of off stump, and that's a wide. Yeah, and just quick reaction from the umpire there as well. There's no studying that one. Very sure of himself. Wide of the off stump that time. Critchley spins himself a catch as he comes in once again, and Ingram's trying to swing that one away, and it had Rossington interested momentarily down the leg side, but it bobbles away, but there's no run. 82 for 3. Sure if that might have taken a little bit of glove, but out of Rossington's range there.
Yeah, I think it did take a bit of glove. Yeah.
Critchley in again. That's swept, but straight to the man at deep backward square. Oh dear, and it just spins away from him momentarily, but he manages to regain control of the ball, and it's just the single. 83 for 3.
He'd have had 10 people shouting at him, watch the spin now, wouldn't he?
Yeah, you always watch the fielder, don't you? You know, well, that's going to spin, but which way is it going to spin? And you can end up making yourself look a little bit silly. Luke Benkenstein, incidentally, with the catch to dismiss Carlson after bowling a Critchley. Brings Labuschagne down onto strike, the right-hander. Critchley's into him. Labuschagne steps back and cuts with power, but straight to Simon Harmer, who's there at short cover. And there's no run. It's a safe pair of hands. Simon Harmer took a stunning catch at Bristol last week in the slips against Gloucestershire, and then in the covers against Somerset, but both in losing efforts ultimately, before Essex picked up their first win on Sunday against Middlesex. Critchley in and bowls to Labuschagne, just waits for that on the tongue, just drops it into the onside for a single. 84 for 3, end of the 12th over. And Glamorgan keep referencing it back and referring back to the sticky start that they had, but at 84 for 3 after 12 overs, they've got a nice base here, Tony, with 8 overs to go.
Yeah, I agree with you. 8 overs to go, 7 wickets, a lot of resource still left for Glamorgan, and their 2 most dangerous. Well, you have got Chris Cook to come, who's a good striker as well, but you're probably your two best strikers of a ball, two best records in all formats, these two, and yeah, they'll be looking if they can get 8s from here, which is 8, 64. You're looking at 148, 150. I think that's a good total. Good total. Defendable total, because again, you know, one person, as I said, can have his day and makes it look ridiculous.
Slight pause in play here. Paul Walter is back on from the Graham Gooch end, but a lot of shuffle around here. Are Essex, fielders who've clearly got their specialist positions and where they want their catchers in.
Glenn, I was going to say as well that we've got obviously Mason Crane, Labuschagne, and then Ingram. So I mean, there's a bit of spin there, and Kieran Carlson as well.
Walter is in and bowls, and dot ball. Labuschagne just plays very correctly defensively back to the bowler on his follow through, and there's no run. Well, they'll have been watching, I'm sure, with great interest to what the Essex spinners have done so far, and seeing that, you know, there's plenty of turn out there on this U strip, and if you really bowl it really into the surface, it goes a long way. Seen a couple turn right past the bat as Walter turns at the end of his run on the edge of the circle, left arm around, in and bowls to Labuschagne. It takes a step back and heaves that one away into the offside. Should be caught and is. It hung an awful long time in the air, which allowed mid-off to get round and in the end make a diving catch just in front of him. Labuschagne took a couple of steps out the leg side and in the end was just stretching for it, I think, in the end, which is why it's come off the toe end of the bat. He has to go 84 for 4.
Yeah, again, you know, it stuck in the pitch, didn't it? It was a length ball, and we've seen so many T20 games where don't bowl length because it gets whacked out of the ground, and everything that's been length seemed to hit the sticker of the bat, doesn't it? And a lot of the batters, Glamorgan batters, have been looking to, it looks as if they've been looking to overhit, and that one again was hit high up on the bat and basically ballooned out for a running catch on the edge of the circle, and good bit of bowling from Paul Walter, and a big wicket for Essex, getting Labuschagne out now and a new batter at the crease.
Yeah, so that's Carlson and Labuschagne. Carlson for 36 and Labuschagne for 34. Gone in successive overs after these two had repaired the damage from 14 for 2. They'd taken it to 77 for 2 before Carlson was out. 7 further runs and Labuschagne has gone as well. Just felt that when he took this couple of steps outside leg stump, he was just stretching for it a little bit as well, and that's why he hasn't got any timing. It hasn't come off the correct part of the bat. So Chris Cook is the new man in for Glamorgan, and just stopped momentarily the momentum that they built up. And 2 quick wickets for Essex just steadies the ship from the Hove side's point of view. Walter in and bowling to Cook, left arm around again, and Cook cuts that one away behind square. Diving stop left-handed is made. Good stop that was by Critchley as well, just at the expense of a single. 85 for 4.
Yeah, Cook's had a decent start. He got a 40, you know, out in a couple of 20s. You know, it comes in at 5 or 6. Glamorgan's finisher, I suppose. Played some really good innings for Glamorgan in one-day cricket over the years, and you know, hits a great ball straight as well. It's quite short here, straight, but nobody's really looked as if they can hit the ball back, any seamers back over their heads at all. It's been really tough.
It was like that at Bristol last week, where anyone trying to hit the ball in front of the wicket just couldn't get the ball away at all, and Gloucestershire saw that and hit a lot behind square either side and picked up their boundaries that way. Walter is in and bowling to the new bat to Colin Ingram, who drives. There's a half stop by a diving Simon Harmer, but they're able to come through for the single. 86 for 4. Essex just didn't learn during the entirety of that game, kept trying to hit the cover off the ball and could barely get the thing off the square in front of the wicket. And you looked at Gloucestershire's boundaries, and the majority of their runs, they came behind square. We were told the Bristol surface is very different from most grounds, and it really was difficult for Essex to get the ball away. Walter, successful in this over, is in, and that's just dropped into the onside by Cook. Should be a couple of runs here, no, just the one, as Man at deep backward square comes herring in to stop the 2. 87 for 4. And the crowd just quiet for a short period here. Floodlights are on, but natural light still taking the majority of the work here. The shadows just beginning to stretch in. Not across the square or the centre of the pitch, but around the outfield. And the shadows of the field is lengthening as well as Walter switches to over the wicket. In and bowls. Slower ball, which Ingram spots and just works behind square on the onside. Comes through for a single. Ripple of applause for that successful over from Paul Walter. 13 gone now in this Glamorgan innings, and they're 88 for 4.
Yeah, those 2 wickets have, I would never say dragged Essex back into the game, because it never looks like that in a low-scoring match. But Glamorgan, when Carlson and Labuschagne were going well, looked like they were going to post a score, north of 150 potentially, which I think is a really good score. Whereas it's dragged them back now to 88 for 4 with 7 to go. So if you're looking at 10s from here in, which is a big ask, they're not making 160, Glamorgan. So it's going to be one of those nip and tuck games and wickets all the time. Get those partnerships turned all the time from an Essex point of view, and this is a massive partnership for Glamorgan.
Luke Benkenstein is back on from the Sir Alistair Cook end. None for 15 so far from his 2 overs. Bowled so well at Bristol last week. He's in and he bowls. Oh, blimey, that's gone a long way, and a long way wide as well.
Oh, that nearly a no ball. That was nearly off the pitch, wasn't it? It was nearly pitched on the green part of the wicket.
Colin Ingram wouldn't have reached that with 2 bats, I don't think. This time he gets one on Midland leg, which he just drives down to long on and comes through for a single. 89 for 4. The Glamorgan scores. Just a little bit of cloud beginning to move in over the flats away to our left-hand side as we watch on from the Sir Alistair Cook end, but it's not threatening or anything like that whatsoever. Benkenstein spins himself a couple of catches at this end, just waits for a change in the field. Deep backward square and deep mid-wicket, both out on the fence. So there's singles all the way in the onside. Benkenstein comes in. Blimey, he's got that wrong as well. This time to the right-hander, well wide, and another wide is added to the total. So lobbed that one up, almost like a knuckleball in baseball, it went so high. Benkenstein in once again. That's better, and it's an under edge this time, which bounces past Rossington off the bat of Chris Cook, and they come through for a single. 91 for 4.
Again, a bit of spin there again, wasn't it? I'm not sure why he's bowling too many full balls. I think you want to be pitching it on that wicket and getting it to rag.
And he's in once again. Oh, and that's gone past the outside edge. Rossington whips the bails off. Back foot, though, of Ingram was firmly planted. Just trying to slog sweep, got nowhere near it. Spun a long way past the bat, and there's no run. 91 for 4. Good piece of work by Rossington, but that back foot firmly planted. No chance of him lifting that one away or losing his balance either. Good comeback that from Benkenstein as he's in once again, and another one which spins past the outside of Ingram's bat, and again Rossington whips the bails off, but again the back foot is behind the line. Good piece of bowling again though, just pushing it through a little bit quicker now as well as Benkenstein. Ingram facing up once again, beaten twice. This time he's not, as he goes back onto his stumps and pushes out into the offside, picks up a single. 93 for 4, 2 wides in this over from Benkenstein, but other than that, not too much damage done. Slight change in the field for the right-handed Cook now, who drives uppishly over the head of Benkenstein and will pick up a single, no more than that. That's a good comeback from Luke Benkenstein. 94 for 4, 2 wides in that, but no further damage done. 3 overs, none for 20 for him so far, and we've had 14 overs of this Glamorgan innings, so 6 to go. 94 for 4, so you think they're probably looking for a minimum another 46 runs here to get to 140.
Yeah, I think anything over 140 is defendable. I mean, that last over showed how difficult it was. They tried to slog sweep, didn't get a bat on it, and every ball that's played with a proper cricket shot doesn't really seem to be coming off the bat very hard, and massive turn, so very difficult.
Simon Harmer is back on from the Graham Gooch end, none for 22 from his 2, and took some real punishment from Kieran Carlson. His first ball is driven up to long on at the expense of a single. 95 for 4. Essex using this U strip. They go to Lords next Thursday to face Middlesex, and then back here on the Friday night against Sussex. Next two T20 Blast games. As this next one spins past Ingram, who let it go, and eventually the wide is signalled. I think he double took the umpire just to double check whether he actually was going to signal that one or not. Palmer in again, and that's hit uppishly but past the man at extra cover and away for 4 runs. Not with any great power either by Ingram. It had the fielder interested, who's Matt Critchley, dived away, he couldn't get a hand on it, goes away for 4 runs, 99 for 4.
Yeah, but I would say there that was one of those shots that wasn't overhit. You know, he waited for it to bite in the wicket and then hit it aerially, but very controlled.
Palmer in, reverse sweep attempt this time, which goes over the head of Critchley and down to the, well, what is effectively the deep third boundary, but with the reverse sweep becomes long leg and goes away for 4 runs. So successive boundaries, and again Simon Harmer just feeling a little bit of punishment here as he's in once again, and that's hit away, and that's going to bisect. No, it will go to the man at wide deep mid wicket. I thought it was going to bisect long on and wide deep mid wicket, but in the end the arc of the ball takes it into his hands, and they come through for a single, 105 for 4. So Essex at Middlesex next Thursday, Glamorgan at home to Hampshire. Harmer is in once again. Back foot drive this time from Cook, goes to backward point, and they pick up the single. And then Essex here against Sussex next Friday. And Glamorgan without a game. Harmer comes in, giving that one plenty of air. Swung away for 4 runs. That did bisect mid-wicket and deep backward square leg for 4 runs. Nicely struck that one, and not a happy evening so far with the ball for Essex's captain. So it's 15 overs gone now, 5 to go, and Glamorgan have got themselves going once again with some boundaries off the Essex captain, and that's going to bring Matt Critchley back on to bowl, and these two looking as though they're going to strike the ball to all parts at the moment. Just double checking, it is 15 overs gone. Tony will have a few words, and then Nick will eventually come in. The scoreboard's finally caught up.
Yeah, it's a good turnaround, good over for Glamorgan, that, and 110 off 15 with only 4 wickets down, and Glamorgan will be looking to get above that 140 mark I keep talking about, and that's just been swung away. Critchley swung away for 4 runs, I believe. Is it 6? No, it's gone for 6. Wow. 6 runs over deep mid wicket there. Just dragged it a bit short there, and Cook helped himself to a boundary.
Well, it's Cook and Ingram, and Essex supporters who were here in 2017 will know all about that. It's 116 for 4. That's hit away uppishly. It's safe, up for a single out towards deep backward point. One of the great games played on this ground, actually. Essex 219 for 4, Chopra 103, Glamorgan 224 for 5, Ingram 114 off 55 balls, Cook 49 off 28. They put on, I think it was 83 and 39 balls. Both got out, but Glamorgan won off the last ball. Absolutely sensational match. Say one of the greatest games ever seen on this ground in the competition. And it's this pair again, which is hit up towards deep mid wicket, and it's going to go for another 6. So we've illustrated what this pair can do, and if they bat through this innings, Glamorgan are going to get a good score, because they are a real combination danger, and they've got history on this ground. 123 for 4 on the 16th, and Ingram with that 6 over mid-wicket looking a real threat.
Yeah, they're the 2 most dangerous players in, without a shadow of a doubt now, and Ingram has got himself set, and he's found the boundary a few times recently. So yeah, dangerous times for Essex.
Critchley bowls, and that's a good delivery, and it's sort of right fired in at the toes, and he can't do much with that, Ingram. But there were a couple of really great games that season, 2017. Essex tended to be on the losing side of the really close ones, but that game was absolutely memorable. As Critchley bowls, and that's driven away past the umpire, standing at point, and out towards deep cover for another single. Were you there? Were you here that night, Tony? 124 for 4. It was a great game, amazing game.
No, I wasn't. No.
You just assume that a score of 219 is going to be too much, but those two saw it differently, and it was absolutely remarkable. 124 for 4 as Critchley bowls. In the 16th over, this is pulled away through the mid-on gap up towards Elgar at long on for a single. So a bit of a decent end to the over after 13 off the first 3 balls. But yeah, it's interesting because there's lots in it for the spinners, although oddly Harmer's bowled 3 overs for 38. I wonder if he'll bowl again. There's 4 overs left, and yes, so Harmer's got a bit of thinking about, is he going to go exclusively for seam from this point onwards? How's he going to play it? Of course, he's got this dilemma. He's got Daniel Sams, but he hasn't got Sam Cook, who's normally such a key player at this stage of proceedings.
Yeah, I think, you know, with these two batters who strike spinners really well, and is sticking in the pitch for the seamers, I think for me, percentagely, I'd be going seamers now with the last 4.
125 for 4, so 4 to go. Can Glamorgan get up to 160, which we were talking about earlier? Paul Walter, who bowled well on Sunday towards the death. That's a good shot down the ground, clubbed away by Cook for 4. And this danger that we highlighted right at the start of the session here about these two, at the moment bearing fruit. They really are getting going. They're making what's looked a difficult pitch look fairly straightforward. I think it was a much flatter wicket in 2017, mind you, but they're doing pretty well here and are a danger to Essex. 129 for 4, 23 balls to go as Walter moves in again in his 3rd over, up to the wicket, round the wicket he goes, and that's a good slower ball and pushed away up towards cover. There's no run there, and the shy, had it hit, would have been a run out. He was stranded there, Cook, halfway down, and Harmer's throw with 2.5 stumps to aim at, unfortunately missed from the Essex perspective, and he got away with it because he would have been run out by a streak.
He had too much time, Simon. Yeah. Too much time to think there. You know, the keeper couldn't get up to the stumps, and I said 2.5 to aim at, and I think he missed by quite a bit.
So Walter, 1 for 19 in 2 overs and 2 balls. The ring of one savers all on the offside as Walter up to the wicket from the ground. Gucci end. This is driven firmly but straight to mid-off, and that'll just be, if you like, an agreed single, because I feel they can't field it cleanly on this occasion. Jordan Cox. So there's no danger from the Glamorgan point of view of a pick up and throw. That was always going to be 1, and 130 for 4. He could probably settle for nothing more than singles off his deliveries now. But Glamorgan, I think 160 could be a working what I call a working total on this pitch. Tony,
I think it's a very good total. Yeah, the way they've got the runs, it's been overhitting, it's turned, it's stuck in the pitch. It's a tough wicket to score on. You can see it's an old pitch, and I think if they get 160, they'll take some getting.
Is getting in really important? Because Carlson was a good example of that. He went through that really rough period and was going well in the second half of his innings. Walter bowls, and that's driven away up towards mid-off, and there's no run. It's easier once you get used to the pitch.
It is, but I mean, there's been a lot of overhitting, and I quite how many dot balls there have been. You can always see how many singles and dot balls. There's been very few, and it's been big shots or nothing. And that shows that the pitch is difficult.
Very hard then to get your timing. Ingram 29 off 17 is on strike. 130 for 4 on the 17th on BBC Essex and BBC Radio Wales. Some cloud cover, but blue sky, and the floodlights just taking effect at 8 o'clock on this Friday evening as Walter up to the wicket bowls, and that's a good delivery and a play and a miss outside the off stump from Colin Ingram, who's annoyed but he hasn't recaptured his 2017 form with that particular stroke. But Essex will be pleased with a dot ball. 130 for 4.
I will say, you know, that probably, well, it's not probably, Glamorgan's strength is in their batting.
Yes.
You know, so that will give Essex, if they do get 160, then that will still give Essex a crumb of comfort, knowing that it's not the strongest of bowling attacks.
Walter up to the wicket, bowls, and this time Ingram hits it in the air, but safe, just over the head of, actually over the left shoulder in the end of Benkenstein at short third man. They get back for a couple of runs. Couple of 30s in the Glamorgan innings of different types really, because Carlson started rather stodgily, as we mentioned, and then started to go well for 36 on 32, and Manus Labuschagne by contrast was going like a train, and then he slowed down a little bit for his 34 from 27, just showing how even the highest class player can find it difficult on a pitch that's sticking as this one has been. Cook 18 and Ingram 31, 132 for 4 with 3 to go.
Yeah, seemed to be a lot going on in that over. Especially after the 4 first ball, which wasn't out the middle of the bat, from Cook straight down the ground, and there's only 3 more runs from the over with a lot of frantic swiping of the bat, and so I keep standing by. It is difficult here, and Sams is coming on now because you don't want spinners, because you are offering boundaries, aren't you?
It's just a question of who bowls over 19, and it may well be Paul Walker who's got one to go. But interestingly, Snater's only bowled 1 over for 5, and Beard 1 over for 7. So many bowling options there for Simon Harmer. He's gone with spin a lot this evening. As I say, quite a few seamers only just bowled the odd over or two. And this is hit in the air. It could be a catch for cover running round towards mid-off, and is. And in the end, comfortably taken, and that's the end of Cook's innings, and nicely judged by Benkenstein. He was at cover. He saw that ball going high in the air. It was a miscue. He sort of ran round towards where a mid-off would be and took it very comfortably. And that is the end of, it's that partnership again, not doing quite as much damage as it did in 2017, but it was a sprightly knock from Cook, 18 off 12 balls. Ingram is 31. We're in the 18th over, and Glamorgan are 132 for 5.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, stuck in the pitch, looking to hit it, I think, wide, long on, and just got toe of the bat and straight up in the air. So, you get away with a few, and as you mentioned, Kieran Carlson had a few off the toe, didn't he, and swung and missed a few times, but he did get those 2 sixes off that 1 over, which kind of kick-started Glamorgan's total, and they still got Colin Ingram in, and Glamorgan will be hoping Colin Ingram's there at the end. If he is, it's going to be closer to 170 than 160.
Yes, I think it's such a big wicket, and depriving Ingram of a strike potentially could be important as well. So Dan Doothwaite's come out there. He's going to be on strike. Ingram looking dangerous on 31. 132 for 5. So Sams will bowl 18 and 20, bowling 18 at the moment. The question of who bowls 19. As Sams goes round the wicket and bowls, and that's driven, actually it's right from Glamorgan's point of view, because it was a deliberate stroke for a single, that just hitting it into a gap on the offside, giving the strike to Ingram. He's got 4 balls left of this over, which is the 18th. 133 for 5, Glamorgan having been sent in. And time-wise we're okay, about 10 minutes away from the cut-off, so no problems there for Essex with lots of spin this evening.
We've got fine leg and third man up on the edge, so all the scouts out, long on, deep mid-wicket, deep square, long off and cover point.
2 for 6 in 2 overs and 2 balls. Daniel Sams, who goes over the wicket and bowls, and Ingram drives this away down the ground. It's going to be 2 bounces up towards long on, and Pepper, the hero of the night, hasn't had too much in the field to do, I think, Michael Pepper, but the hero of the night, a magnificent 100 against Middlesex, got half the runs for Essex in their run chase, so he'll be in good form on this pitch and looking to repeat the dose this evening. I think Dean Elgar on this sort of pitch could be almost just the right man to anchor this Essex reply with all his experience. 134 for 5. Doothwaite is on strike again, the right-hander, and he gets one which he just pops up over the head of the on-rushing Colin Ingram, the non-striker, who was probably thinking he might have ducked for cover for a moment, but it was just an unintentional shot, I think, just popped up off the bat. Again, the ball just sticking a little bit. Could easily have been a caught and bowled that, but it went wide of Sams and away for a single, and it's 135 for 5, a wicket and 3 singles. Good over for Essex.
I think that ball, that shot and everything kind of summed up the wicket, really.
Yeah, could easily have been a caught and bowl, but in the end it was just to the onside. And here Ingram clubs that one away. That's going to go on 1 bounce out towards deep mid-wicket, out towards Snater, and just another single. So what a very good over this is from Daniel Sams, who's been a great signing for Essex in this competition. And, you can't ask for much more than 2 for 9 with 1 ball left of his 3rd over. And has the dimensions of a match-winning bowling performance this from Sams at the moment, if he can close it out in over 20. 136 for 5. Lovely evening, and Sams going round the wicket, bowls a slower ball, and Doothwaite reaching for it, gets the outer half of the bat on it and descends it away for a single, keeps the strike, which Essex won't mind. And the end of the over sees Doothwaite 3, Ingram 33 from 21, Glamorgan 137 for 5 with 2 overs to go.
Yeah, still think it's not a bad position to be in for Glamorgan. They'd be hoping to get at least up to 160 from here, but it's not easy. It's not easy, as we've seen all through this, to strike boundaries, and the Essex seamers have realised that it's not a Yorker pitch. It's just hit that pitch hard, few slower balls, take some pace off, and it's very, very difficult to time the ball. And all those fielders in the ring have been taking catches from balls they've been trying to hit for 6. You know, it just can't get back on ball.
Well, it is Walter, and he bowls, and that's hit in the air. It's going to be caught at short third man by Critchley. The end of Doothwaite, who's walking off. It was, again, I think, a symptom of the pitch there, I think, Tony, because in the end it just sort of popped off the bat, didn't it? And a very comfortable catch for Critchley at short third man. Just an indication of what the pitch is doing. Interesting that Walter now seems to be the 17 and 19 over bowler for Essex, standing in for Sam Cook in that role, and he's doing the job pretty well, I have to say. 137 for 6 in the 19th.
Yeah, it's very rare in the end of T20s when the seamers come back that you'll see anything other than bouncers, yorkers, slower balls. Most of the wickets here, they haven't been slower balls. They've just stuck in the pitch and they're looking to strike down the ground or mid-wicket, and they've been caught on the offside, all in the circle, haven't they? Just been lobbed up. They've been 4 or 5 catches. So it has been very difficult, and as I said, these are massive 2 overs for both sides. Momentum's everything in T20. Glamorgan get 20 off these 2 overs, get them up to 160, close to that, then they'll feel that that's a very good total. If Essex can get a couple of wickets and keep them down to maybe 150, then they'll go in with the momentum. So important couple of overs.
Van der Hoogten on strike to Walter. Ingram being deprived of a strike here, but he's going to get it now because that was a miscue, but just what Glamorgan wanted, because it rolled out towards mid-on, allowing a comfortable single, and Ingram has to strike, and this is critical now for Glamorgan, that he hangs on to the strike for as much of these last 10 balls as possible and makes the most of it to get Glamorgan up towards 160, which Tony's saying he thinks is a pretty good score if they can get there. 138 for 6.
I go 140 is defendable if you bowl and field well. 150 is in that middle bit. 160 very good score. That's how I'd have it at the moment.
Interesting.
And you can hang me at the end. Okay?
No, very, very interesting, because it's looked from the start to be quite difficult to force the pace on this pitch. But we have seen little periods of play where Glamorgan have been quite dominant with the bat. Here this is Ingram looking to do just that, playing a lovely shot, clubbing it away through the covers for 4 with no problem at all. And as I say, so important for Glamorgan, he takes as much of his last few balls as possible, I think. 142 for 6.
Yeah, he's the one player, along with Labuschagne, who hasn't looked over hit.
Yeah.
And even that one, he waited for it to stick in the pitch, and then again he played that shot earlier where he's hit it probably about 3 feet off the ground, just extra covers right hand, and hit it really well, timed it really well out to the extra cover boundary.
Well, he's not going to get 100 like he did in 2017, but again he's showing his quality and class out there. With 9 balls to go, 142 for 6. Possibly a competitive score this now for Glamorgan, and this is a good delivery from Walter. A bit of it's a wide. A little bit unlucky there. It's not that far away from the off stump. It reminds me of that super over last night where there was a prolonged debate about the very first ball, which was given as an offside non-wide, where the batsman thought that certainly was a wide. That one, what do you think, Tony?
It was tight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it looked a bit tight.
Give himself a little bit of room, didn't he? You know.
Yeah.
Paul Pollard umpiring at that far end, I think. He was convinced.
But it means that an extra run goes to Glamorgan's score, as Ingram now will get a slower ball which will hit over mid-off 4, at least 4, 1 bounce, high-class shot, because Walter went for it stuck in the pitch a little bit, it sat up, but Ingram spotted it, and all he had to do was clear mid-off, which he did comfortably. This is high-class batting on a difficult pitch. 41 off 23, 147 for 6, and Glamorgan now looking for that sort of score that we thought might be their best option earlier on.
Yeah, again, didn't try to overhit, waited, didn't he, and made sure that he timed it over mid-off. So top shot, class player.
Here comes Walter again from the Graham Gooch end. He bowls, and Ingram gets one of full length and just plays a drive away for a single out towards cover. So now I guess the issue is for Van der Hoogten to maybe give it a bit of a swing, see if he can get a 4. Probably what Glamorgan don't want here is a single, and leave Ingram with a strike on the last over. 148 for 6, 7 balls to go.
Yeah, certainly it's a free hit for Tim Van Hoogten, I think. Free hit. He's got 4 saving the single on the offside.
Tell you what, the push towards deep mid wicket without too much pace, and there could be a 2 there for him.
Yeah, mid-off's just gone back as well, hasn't he?
Yeah, 148 for 6, and here he does it, play it in that direction, but he's hit it too high, and it's caught at deep mid wicket. particularly perhaps significant because although Van der Hoogten is out, there's still 3 wickets left and Ingram's going to be on strike for the last over. But it is a wicket for Paul Walter. Again, the ball just sort of sitting up in the pitch a little bit, and he did go for that 4, but held out to deep mid-wicket. Van der Hoogten goes for a single, and it's a 148 for 7. Daniel Sams, very comfortable catch. He's having a pretty good evening. Yeah, 148 for 7. It's an interesting score, this, on a used pitch, which has looked tricky, very tricky at times for the batters. But we've also seen some enterprising stroke play as well. But again, perhaps that one an indicator of the pitch. The ball just sort of stopping a little bit, and it wasn't able to quite go through with the shot. It was sort of hitting that too high on the bat in the end.
Yeah, it's difficult. All the new batters, when they come in, they've struggled. They've struggled, yes. And it was a big ask. But he did have a free hit, didn't he? He had a free hit on that last.
As we said, not a particularly significant wicket that, because Ingram is on strike. As here's that's a full toss. That's a no ball. It's not quite a beamer, but he lost control of that completely. Did Sams, and let's give it signalled as a no ball. Now, is that a free?
Yeah, it's a free hit.
Yes, it is a free hit. Yeah, he's signalled as a free hit now. So Glamorgan's 150 comes up. Daniel Sams has been brilliant so far, but he just lost control of that delivery. Probably quite annoyed with himself. And so that's a no ball, free hit with Ingram on strike on 42. And here Ingram goes for a big swing. Well bowled, Sams, because that's beaten him outside the off stump. Just had to just vary that pace a little bit to beat the aggressive clubbing drive through the covers, and he's got out of the way with that very well, has Daniel Sams. 150 for 7.
Yeah, I mean, he's hit the pitch there again. Yeah. You very rarely see that, especially on a free hit. For batters to get underneath it, bring sixes into play, but it's just stuck in the pitch again.
Sams turns 2 for 12 in his final over. He's up to the wicket from the Alistair Cook end. He bowls, and that's driven away for 6. That's a good shot from Ingram. He's picked that up and headed away over extra cover, 48. And in a way, I reckon Essex would be grateful he wasn't out there in the middle earlier. I've got to be honest, because if he'd been batting for as long as he did in 2017 on that match, and Glamorgan did lose a couple of early wickets on that one, the way he's going, he could have got anything here. He really has batted superbly well. 48 with that 6 over deep cover. 156 for 7. We're in the final over as Sams bowls, and that's a slightly shorter one, and it's pulled away for 4 more, and that takes him to a thoroughly deserved 50. Really, this is high class batting, and it could be the difference between the two sides tonight. It's 52 from 28. And 160, we've been talking about that mark as perhaps the upper end of what Glamorgan were looking for. Tony, I know you're pleased with that score from Glamorgan's point of view. It's whatever they can add, I guess, from this point in. Andy Gorvin has come in, but he's quite happy to stay at the non-striker's end and admire what Colin Ingram is doing. 3 balls to go, 160 for 7. Sams bowls again, and Ingram hits this in the air. It's going up towards long on, and it's well caught. That's a very good catch and could yet be important, because it means that Ingram won't post the last couple of deliveries. And long on there coming in, I think it's Pepper actually out there, who hasn't had much to do, but he's taken what could be an important catch. Even depriving Ingram of a strike for 2 deliveries here could be important. What a top innings that was, 52 from 29, it's 160 for 8.
Yeah, that could very well be a match-winning innings. That he struck it so well. And the difference, I keep going back to Manus Labuschagne and him. They didn't look to overhit, and they were the ones who timed the ball the best. And the one thing Essex have got in their favour is that there's so many dot balls with Glamorgan when they're trying to find what the pitch was doing. I think Essex could go in there and look to get bat on ball more than Glamorgan, because they did overhit. The majority of the batters did try and overhit, but it looks a good score. It looks a good score. Once you're up, I said 140, 160, it looks a decent score on this pitch. Yeah,
normally on a true Chelmsford wicket like this pitch, in its initial outing on Sunday, 160 wouldn't be competitive, but it should be tonight as Sams bowls, and this is pulled away out towards long on, and in fact it could bisect 2 fielders out there, and it does. So a 4 for Mason Crane, who's come to the wicket. good to see Mason Crane getting a regular outing with Glamorgan. He could be quite important later on this wicket, you know, Tony.
Well, I think, you know, obviously Manus Labuschagne's bowled this year.
Yes.
Ingram hasn't.
Right.
He bowls leggies as well. So, and there's Kieran Carson, who's an offie as well. So they've got some spin, but it's not easy to hit the seamers either.
Just the one test match, I think, for Mason Crane from memory in Sydney, I think it was. He's got a 4 off his first ball, and he hits that one down the ground up towards long on, one bounce up towards Jordan Cox. They're going to go back for the second run. Crane, who's always had a little bit about him with the bat, has done well there. A little cameo 6 from 2 balls. And Gorvin never faced a ball, actually. He was the non-striker throughout the over. Sam's, well, his last over, a little bit of damage there, starting off with the no ball, of course, and the little assault there from Ingram. So he ends with 3 for 28. Walter 3 for 33. So those two certainly the key wicket takers for Essex this evening. But Glamorgan will go to the dugouts. I think that's a phrase in T20, isn't it? 166 for 8, and I think they'll be delighted with that from the very, very difficult start that they had out there.
Oh yeah, especially, you know, when we were looking at 8 overs, 40 for 2 after 8 overs to post that, and by that time I think we all realised how difficult it was sticking in the pitch for the seamers, and then when the leggies came on and they started spinning it, you know, big and bouncing, you can see how difficult it was to hit boundaries, but also to turn strike over. So I think that's a very good score from Glamorgan. But look, it's a short boundary straight. If someone has his day, you know, then Essex are very, very much still in the hunt here.
Well, do have a break, Tony, and we'll see you again in a few minutes. What we'll do is have a look at the scorecard and just rattle through some news of what's going on elsewhere. A bit more cloud cover now, but it's a lovely evening. We've got the floodlights taking effect, and the spectators here just starting to stretch their legs and just have a little bit of time on their feet or walking around, enjoying what's a lovely June evening. I say it might just be a touch cool by the time we get to a latter part of the game, but at the moment, lovely conditions. And Glenn Speller has joined me. And Glenn, well, we highlighted just there at the start of a 16th over the history that Colin Ingram has on this ground, and he just showed a little bit out tonight, and that could be a very important innings.
Yeah, and just said to Tony, he's just headed out the door for 5 or 10 minutes, said, we have a game which we certainly, I don't think had or thought we were going to get after the power play, because Glamorgan they couldn't get the ball off the square virtually, could they? They were finding it sticking in the pitch, and then the Essex spinners got to work as well. Glamorgan have got 3 spinners, 3 frontline spinners in their team as well, so it'll be interesting to see how they go. But yeah, 166 for 8, and you just look at that middle of that Glamorgan innings. Ingram 52, Cook 18, Labuschagne 34, and then at the top Carlson, who had the good partnership with Labuschagne, he made 36. I mean, they have shown that it is possible to score runs, but playing good cricket shots as well. So yeah, I think the Essex batters have got plenty to think about, and they've seen the way Glamorgan have gone about things.
Elsewhere tonight, I think
Well, one of our lucky young Essex fans Well, one of our lucky young Essex fans is going to be identified as our Woodland Group Young Fan of the Match, and I'm delighted to announce that today Harriet Starling is our young Essex Fan of the Match. You're going to get your T20 shirt, there you go, from Eddie and Ellie over there. Harriet, I'll come down to you. You can stay where you are, don't worry. So, are you a cricketer yourself?
Yes, I play for Great Baddow.
Excellent, and are you a batter or a bowler, a bit of both? What do you prefer?
I prefer to bowl.
Okay, nice. Spin or a bit of pace? You get it down?
Pace.
Pace, excellent. And who's your favourite Essex player?
Daniel Sams.
Daniel Sams, good choice. And you're having a good evening with us tonight?
Yes, thank you.
Excellent. Well, look, congratulations to you. Make plenty of noise in the second part and have a great evening with us. Round of applause, please, for Harriet.
innings, but with this sort of target on a tricky pitch, he could be very important.
So Tony is just heading back in. He's gone out and got himself a drink, so he'll come in alongside me for commentary, and then Nick will rejoin us in 5 overs time. So here we are then. Essex need 167 for victory here, and it is Rossington facing first up. Attempted to cut the ball away into the offside, and there'll be no run there. Jamie McElroy is opening the bowling from the Graham Gooch end. Tony is back alongside, just getting all his various bits and paper, and is, more importantly, like myself, his pair of glasses as well, and is ready to join us for commentary. And McElroy with the second ball of his opening spell, left arm over into Rossington, who just drops his hands on the ball into the offside, and they come through for a comfortably taken single, one without loss, and the required run rate just short of 8.5. In normal circumstances in T20 cricket with pro players, they would get through that quite nicely, but as we know, this surface might have a few things to say, Tony.
Yeah, it is difficult, but they will have had a little look, Essex, and that shot of Rossington there, just dropping it and run, that's something we didn't see from Glamorgan. They did overhit from the start, trying to find their way, so it'll be interesting to see how you go, but good score. 166 is a good score.
Elgar facing up now to McElroy, comes in and bowls. Elgar pulling up around the corner, and again high up on the bat, like we saw so many times from Glamorgan in their innings, in the air on the onside, but just falling between a couple of fielders, and he picks up the single, 2 without loss. Floodlights taking over here now, can see the light glinting off the helmet of the batters, and just maybe time to stick a jumper on or something. It's just getting a little bit chilly as McElroy turns in the distance, shaven headed, and is in, and he's bowling to Rossington. Again, just drops his hands on it, works it behind square on the offside, called through really quickly by Dean Elgar because the ball went behind Rossington, so Elgar had a better sight of it and called him through for a single. Rossington coming back now just to have a quick chat with his batting partner. 3 without loss is the score. As you say, we didn't see that from Glamorgan, and probably not enough from them. No,
and to be fair, he's played well. He's let the ball come onto the bat, but Glamorgan looking to hit the pitch exactly the same as the Essex seamers.
Ring of fielders on the offside for Elgar. McElroy is into him once again, and again works it into the onside, and they can jog through a deal more comfortably for this run. So 4 balls and 4 singles so far for Essex, 4 without loss. 167 is their target on BBC Essex, BBC Radio Wales. 4 from 5 balls, I should say. The first one was a dot. The breeze has dropped somewhat in the ground. McElroy, tall, comes in once again, gathers himself into Rossington, and this time he won't get anything behind square on the offsides. It's quickly gathered by Gorvin, fielding at backward point. There'll be no run there. First over is done, and Essex chasing 167 for victory here, a 4 without loss.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. You know, usually when it's a spinning wicket, it's tough to score as the pitch gets slower. You'd say, well, the first 6, you need to go hard at the first 6. I'm not so sure that's as easy to say than to do, because as we saw from that over there, Jamie McElroy just hit the pitch really, and it got stuck in it, and it was difficult. Dean Elgar there tried to pull one ball and hit the sticker. So yes, it's quite difficult. So it'll be interesting to see how Essex go about this, because spin will play a little bit of a part as well.
Tim van der Hoogden is going to come on from this opening over Sir Alistair Cook end. He's bowling to Dean Elgar. In he comes, and Elgar aerially behind square on the onside. He's caught. No, he's not. He's put down. Deep back with square. Just had to run a little bit round to his left and a little bit further forward maybe than he was. And in the end, he has to dive forward. He had it in both his hands, and somehow it squirmed out. And worse than that for Glamorgan, it's gone for 4, 8 without loss.
Trying to see who it is. It's a long way away there. Was that Eddie Byron down there? It's difficult to see, isn't it, from this? From our, I'm just trying to catch the number, but yeah, that's a massive drop catch for Glamorgan.
He certainly had it in both hands, and in the end it's gone for 4. Van der Hoogden's quickly back in and bowling to Elgar, who angles that one away down to the man at third on the edge of the circle and comes through for a single. 9 without loss. The Essex score. He did all the hard work. He got around and he got there, and sort of had it in both hands, and in the end it's gone through his grasp and gone for 4, and so Essex get a life and Dean Elgar gets a life.
Yeah, what was it? I have to say, he made a lot of ground. It wasn't the easiest of catches, but as you said, you get 2 hands on it, you're hoping to catch them.
And a hooked a little hop of the skip in his approach. Ian and bowls, and Rossington drives over the head of mid-off. That's Mason Crane. It's gone over him, and it's gone down to the long-off boundary for 4 runs. 13 without loss is the Essex score, and we're 9 balls into the power play.
Yeah, Tim van der Hoogten is quite a skiddy bowler, and maybe that'll come onto the bat a little bit better than the taller bowlers who are looking to actually hit the wicket, 2/3 of the way down. But good shot that by Adam Rossington.
Here he is again, van der Hoogten into Rossington. And Rossington this time goes over the head and long on, who just stretches up but won't get there. And the result is the same. It goes for 4 more, 17 without loss. It just had the man at mid-on interested. He jumped, he knew he wasn't getting there. It was for effect, and it goes for 4.
Yeah.
This time Andy Gorvin couldn't get there.
Yeah, it had about, what did he get, about 2/3 of that, did he? Adam Rossington just about cleared, didn't it? It wasn't timed, but just about cleared the infield. Good over this is turning into for Essex, though.
Yeah, 3 boundaries from it so far. And still 2 more balls to come. Van der Hoogten in once again to Rossington. Rossington driving along the ground, and Van der Hoogten gets a piece of it on his follow-through. Elgar is sent back by his batting partner, and there is no run. Good piece of fielding by the big fast bowler on his follow-through. Get down there and make the stop.
Got to stop them off your own bowling, haven't you?
Yep.
But could that be a pivotal point of the game, that catch out to deep square leg? Dean Elgar on, what was he on, 1 at the time?
Yep.
Was it?
And he got there, didn't he? Got there, but just couldn't hold on. Van der Hoogten to finish up then. 13 from the over so far. Make that 19. Because that's gone for 6. That's a big 6 as well. Straight down the ground from Rossington over the head of mid-off. 19 from that first over from Tim van der Hoogten, and Essex are off to an electric start here. 23 without loss, with 4 overs of the power play still to go.
Yeah, it's a flying start, and Adam Rossington played it well. As I said, Tim van der Hoogten is a little bit more skiddy than most of the bowlers we've seen on show, the seamers we've seen on show tonight, and it did slide onto the bat. There was that one half chance, wasn't there? Not half chance, but I suppose mid-on the circle would have fancied he had a little squeak at one stage, but just cleared the infield, and that is a flyer. 23 off 2, and good start from Essex.
McIlroy to continue from the Graham Gooch end, shaven-headed with a beard. Left arm over, is going to come in and bowl to the South African Dean Elgar. Full delivery, Elgar works into the onside, hits the man at short mid-wicket, and there'll be no run there. Interesting to see how quickly or how soon Glamorgan turned to spin. Having seen what the Essex spinners, the majority of them anyway, did.
Well, you can put you on the spot. Who's your winner tonight?
As in terms of team, now, well, at the moment, Essex, the way it's going. It's just how the Glamorgan spinners fare, I think. McIlroy's in once again. Elgar angles that one away in the offside, calls his batting partner through quickly. So shy at the stumps, which hits the stumps, but he's safely home. 24 without loss, just because of the fact that they're ahead of Glamorgan already in the game.
Well, listen, the Welsh are a bit tight, right? So I'm not going to bet. I'm not going to bet a lot, but we'll have a sportsman's bet. I'll still take Glamorgan at this stage.
Still taking Glamorgan. You still think runs in the bank?
Yeah.
Yep.
On this pitch, I do. Yeah.
We shall wait and see. Be interesting to see what the Glamorgan spinners do. McIlroy turns again into Rossington this time. Rossington just drops his hands on the ball. There'll be no run there though. Short cover comes in. 24 without loss. Glenn Speller, Tony Cotty and Nick Gledhill with you on BBC Essex and BBC Radio Wales this evening in chilly Chelmsford now. Most of the blue sky's gone, the floodlights have taken over. But it's been a good evening of cricket so far. Glamorgan did so well in the end to get up to 166. But did Essex break those partnerships at crucial moments? We'll wait and see. McIlroy in again. Rossington comes down the wicket and heaves that one into the flats for 6 over mid-wicket, and the second maximum off the bat of Adam Rossington rockets away. 30 without loss.
Yeah, it was a good strike, wasn't it? Just sat in the crease a little bit there and waited for it, and short of a length and pulled it over square leg. Longish boundary that as well. It cleared it comfortably. So he started off firing here, Adam Rossington. Dangerous customer, isn't he? At the top of the order, and boundaries are plenty at the moment.
I'm going to need a new ball as well. Kieran Carlson hit the roof of those flats. That one was a bit flatter, so it didn't hit the roof, but it hit someone's side wall. and we've had to get the bag of balls out again. That's the third new one of the evening, in an innings anyway, 2 in the Glamorgan innings, which disappeared out of the ground. McIlroy very quickly has the new one back in his hand. He's in and bowling to Rossington. Comes off his thigh pad, called through by Elgar comfortably for the single. The shout of your end from Elgar as he came through. So Rossington just had to shuffle a little bit quicker, but gets there for the leg by. 31 without loss.
I think one of them was a tad quicker than the other between the wickets, I would say.
So Adam Rossington has come back from a thumb injury only recently, and saw him doing some fitness work on the outfield during the break in some of the championship games. He's still quicker than me, I imagine. It's McIlroy into the left-handed Elgar this time, and Elgar drives all the way along the ground up to mid-on, jogs through for the single. 32 without loss, 3 overs gone, and Essex in excess of 10 and over right at the start of this chase for 167 for victory, and they've already brought the run rate down below the 8 required as well at the start of the game.
Yeah, I have to say, man, I don't think whether his thumb is okay or not is going to get very quick between the wickets. But I take your point, but yeah.
But he was doing a lot of fitness work, a lot of short runs, a lot of short shuffle runs and sprints, and a few beat tests as well.
Yeah.
Essex have already been through 4 wicket keepers this season, various injuries, and had to have Harry Duke on loan from Yorkshire for a couple of championship matches as well. But Rossington is back with the gloves in the T20. Dan Douthwaite is on from the Sir Alistair Cook end. A full toss outside off stump, which Elgar gets nothing really on timing wise, and cloths it up to mid-off for no run. 32 without loss. So Van der Hoogten's expensive first over that went for 19 necessitates a change for Kieran Carlson, bringing on Dan Douthwaite for this 4th over. Right arm over, quite a loping sort of approach that he has, in and bowls to Elgar, but really fast arm. That is heaved away by Elgar, 1 bounce for 4 runs. Got a lot of air on that, and eventually it drops just in front of the rope, and he picks up 4 more, 36 without loss.
Yeah, nice shot that, wasn't it? I talked about overhitting and the Glamorgan innings. He just waited for that. Was on his legs, just short of a half volley, and he's just picked it up over, just in front of square. Fielder is behind square on the boundary there. At the far end of the ground, so a good shot, picked his gap and executed well.
Yeah, I think I probably did him a disservice. I think I used the word heave, but as you're right, it's just a flick, a pick-up, wasn't it? Plenty of air on it, but they are sending a man out to the deep mid-wicket fence now. They've got deep backward square in there as well. Acres of room on the onside for a single if they want to use it. Douthwaite is in, and that's played up to mid-on for another single. 37 without loss. Elgar goes to 14. Rossington has 22. Good start between these two. Elgar, half century against Somerset last Friday, really anchored that Essex innings, made his 3rd highest score actually in all T20 cricket last week against Somerset. His best is 88 in the short form of the game over in South Africa. Not seen as a T20 player, but averages over 30 in the format. Douthwaite is in again, this time to Rossington, the right-hander. In and bowls, and Rossington batters that one straight down the ground for 4 runs. It's just a stand and deliver from Adam Rossington. He goes to 26 and the score to 41 without loss.
Yeah, he's playing well here. You know, the complete opposite to how Glamorgan started. He's sitting in his crease, not looking to overhit the ball, and just leaving his arms go through, and it's turned into a dangerous innings from a Glamorgan's perspective. So good start this from Essex.
Hitting straight as well, Rossington. Straight is the shorter part of the ground here at Chelmsford. Douthwaite, what's his response? In he comes and bowls to Rossington. Full delivery. Rossington, well, he's got an inside edge on that, which has gone away down towards the long leg boundary, and they'll pick up a couple of runs. 43 without loss. He was unsure of where that one had gone this time, Adam Rossington. He's striking the ball nicely, but fortuitously picks up 2 more.
Maybe there was a discussion in the Essex changing room that to get these runs you need to be ahead of the game off the first 6 overs, you know, to get ahead of the run rate and make it a bit easier when the spinners come on.
Douthwaite again to finish off this over. He's in. That's a slower ball, and Rossington's not going to be fooled, just traps the bat down on it. and is happy with the 11 runs they've managed to garner from that over. So 4 overs gone now in this Essex response. 167 is their target, and already they have 43 without loss.
Yeah, excellent start there, over nearly 11 and over. So yeah, Rossington, I said he started, I think, a little bit differently to Glamorgan in the fact that he waited and he took a couple of singles, and he just saw the pace of the pitch and took a couple of singles early on and got a little sighter, I suppose. But he's hit the ball really well, straight down the ground with that pull shot as well for 6. So Glamorgan will want to see the back of him if they're to come up trumps in this game.
McElroy is going to get a third over from the Graham Gooch end, and he's bowling to Dean Elgar. Elgar is bowled! Trying to hit that one away over long on, has his off stump removed. Elgar goes for 14. Glamorgan have their breakthrough. It's 43 for 1. And a good full delivery from McElroy. And the question was posed, if you miss, will I hit? And the answer was yes. And it was a sort of ugly looking shot from Elgar in the end, and he has to depart. 43 for 1. That brings Sunday's hero to the wicket, Michael Pepper, who struck his first T20 century for Essex. 101 that he made on Sunday in that winning effort against Middlesex. He won't need to fashion anything quite so dramatic this evening, but he will have to do a fair share of the work alongside Adam Rossington. But as you said, Tony, Essex have got themselves ahead of the game here.
They have got ahead of the game. Partnerships are key, wasn't it? That was a nice partnership with 40 there, predominantly Adam Rossington in the chair really for the scoring, but still 43 off 4 overs. Opening partnership was excellent. Now Glamorgan will be looking to nick another 1 or 2 in this power play and even it out a little bit. But yeah, the game's still on here because we've seen how this pitch plays, and it's not going to be easy. Even though they've had an 11 and over start, it's not going to be easy to knock 167 off.
Well, he's had a mixed T20 blast so far, Michael Pepper. Out first ball against Gloucestershire last Thursday, and then hadn't got very many when he reverse swept straight into the hands of a fielder at Taunton, and then lo and behold a century on Sunday. He's facing up to Jamie McElroy now and just plays defensively into the offside. Call through very quickly by Rossington, who has to get going really quickly. And the overthrow comes in. It's past the stumps, but they won't pick up another run for that, and they come through for a single. He's off the mark very quickly. There is Michael Pepper. I don't think Adam Rossington will be wanting him to do that too many more times.
I don't think he was in the frame there. I think if that had hit, I think he was gone. That was a bit of a suicidal one. You know, you've got to know your partners as well, and you know, with all due respect, he's not the quickest between the wicket, Adam Ross. He's 28 not out of 14 balls. You don't want to be running him out, that's for sure.
There speaks the voice of a former pro. Know your partner. McElroy, it's into Rossington, drives away on the offside, won't get anything for that though as it's fielded, and the man at extra cover. 44 for 1. 167 is the Essex target. They've brought the required run rate down below 8, the current run rate 9 3/4, so they're nicely ahead of the game at the moment, but only the single from these first 3 balls of Jamie McElroy's third over. 1 for 13 so far for him as he turns and comes in once again and bowls for Rossington. He comes down the wicket and tries to swing that one away through the onside, gets an under edge on it, and it bounces through to Chris Cook behind the stumps, and there's no runs. This is a good over, good comeback from McElroy, and just quietening things down a bit.
You don't very rarely do you see someone bowl 3 in the first in the power play in the first 5 overs as well. So you know, he's done well here. He's gone for 4 and 8, I think, 13 off, and he's well into his third over.
A couple of balls to go. He's in and bowling to Rossington, full toss, which Rossington steers away down towards the long leg boundary, and the man at deep backward square won't get round and cut that off, and that's gone for 4 runs. He's let himself down a bit there, McElroy. It was a good over up to that point, but a full toss down the leg side. Rossington wasn't going to miss that. He goes to 32 and 48 for 1.
Yeah, unusual that he's gone full there. That was a very full ball. I think it might even been a full toss.
Yeah, it was.
And as we talked about all the way through, yeah, you've got to hit the pitch on this wicket, and it becomes too paced, so poor ball.
McElroy into Rossington, slower ball down the leg side. They're going to run. It's going to be a wide, so McElroy's going to have a little bit of overtime to do here. And the keeper couldn't quite gather it cleanly either. Evening to Ken on the email. Says, I'm having difficulty visualising where the ball is sometimes because I haven't been to the ground for some time. I don't know which is the gooch and the Cook end. Well, Ken, the gooch end is what we used to call the Hayes close end, and the Sir Alistair Cook end is what we used to call the river end. So I hope that clears things up a bit for you here at Chelmsford as McIlroy turns, hopefully from his perspective, to complete this over. Well, that's flicked down the leg side. They're claiming a catch off Pepper. It's given not out, and the umpire just slaps his thigh and says, no, that's it, Michael Pepper's thigh pad on the way down. Good job it did, otherwise it would have been another wide. That's the end of the over. One more over to come of the power play, and Essex chasing 167 for victory are 50 for 1. A few words from Tony, and then Nick will return.
Yeah, excellent start by Essex. In what I still believe, is a tough total from Glamorgan, but at 50 for 1, Adam Rossington is making short shrift of it. But wickets are key. Tim van der Hoogten is coming back on after that very expensive second over of the Glamorgan bowling response. He went for 19, so he'll be looking to pull that in a little bit.
Here he comes from the Alistair Cook end, and that's a bit of a miscue just for once from Rossington, and a scramble for Pepper to get in, and overthrows, and 4 of them. Just what Essex would have wanted. It was a tight run to start with, but the throw was loose, and it's gone for 4 overthrows, and that will very much help the Essex cause, and that's not what Glamorgan wanted, Tony.
Oh, to be fair, that's poor from the mid-off, because that ball was thrown at the stumps of the keeper's end. He was out if it had hit without a shadow of doubt, so you can't blame the fielder. But why, I'm trying to see who that is there. Sam North, he should have backed that up from mid-off without a shadow of a doubt. There's a big gap between extra cover and mid-off, and they ended up with five runs, but certainly was well worth a shy.
What might have been 50 for 2 has become 55 for 1. One ball into a 6th over, and it means a further 112 to win. The asking rate's 7.6, so well within the Essex compass, particularly with Rossington going so well at the moment, and Pepper obviously in good form from Sunday. Last over of the power play, slower ball, well bowled by van der Hoogten, and a swing from Pepper is unavailing. Very interesting story at Canterbury, where Kent are turning the tables on Somerset with a terrific partnership there between Joe Denley and Sam Binnings. 133 for 4 in the 13th over, chasing 198, so they need 65 from 44 balls. They must be favourites to win that now. And I say, it's that pair that have done the damage, and it could be 2 defeats from 3 for Somerset. This is well pitched up and driven away down the ground. I think it's a 1 bounce. No, it's cleared the boundary down in front of us, below the stand here in front of our commentary box, and he has got just enough on that to make it a maximum. And there is Michael Pepper reprising what he did on Sunday with splendid form, with a straight 6 to go from 1 to 7.
Do you ever think it's not your day? When there's a run out there, he's gone for 19 in his first over, there's a run out, and he goes for overthrows, and then you get it for 6.
Yeah, fine shot from Pepper's gone to 7, 61 for 1, and here he is hitting one away. That's a miscue, but it's safe, and it's going to bounce down towards the 3rd man boundary and clear it. So poor old van der Hoogten here, he could have got a wicket right at the start of the over, and he held a 5 against his analysis, and then of course a 6, now the 4, and the over's gone for 15, and it's proving as difficult as the first over for him, and it's 65 for 1 in the 6th over, and Glamorgan need to stop these runs here. Too many being scored on this pitch.
Andy Nelga dropped off his bowling.
Yes.
He's had, to be fair, I think he needs to, and somebody else needs to have a bowl. It's not going to be his night, I don't think.
102 to get when the last over the power play. Essex have really made the most of the power play, which is a slower ball, and pulled away for 4. Excellent batting from Pepper, right back in that form of Sunday, as if he was still out there from that outing against Middlesex on Sunday afternoon. And this is a bit of a mini disaster from the Glamorgan point of view. 69 for 1, another 19 off this over. Not all the bowler's fault, of course, after the 4 overthrows, but it's not been his night, van der Hoogten. Here he comes again. Pepper has absolutely skated along to 15 from 6 balls. Both batsmen scoring at strike rates of over 200 at the moment. 69 for 1, and this is a clubbing drive through cover for 4. Wow. Well, that is an over that van der Hoogten will want to forget, and it could have been so different had he got the run out from the opening ball, but in the end, something of a disaster for him and Glamorgan, starting with that 5, and then Pepper really getting going towards the end of the over. I think 23 from it in the end, and it's 73 for 1 after 6 overs, and that over on its own has just given Essex a massive advantage here.
Oh, massive. Yeah, Glamorgan now are looking for, they need wickets, and
yes.
they've flown ahead of anything I thought they would get. I think Tim van der Houten has gone over his length. I think the Essex bowlers hit the pitch more and they made it too paced, but you can't take anything away from Adam Rossington of 30, 31, 37, and Pepper's come in 19 off about 7 or 8 balls. So yeah, excellent response from Essex.
And suddenly, after all that, 2 overs of 42, Van der Houten just 94 required at 6.7, and Mason Crane, now we're seeing leg spin for Glamorgan. He bowls that one and Rossington hits it in the air, a little bit indeterminate that shot, but it does bounce once short of deep cover, and its strike is going to be with Peppers. This is going to be interesting to see the extent to which they take on Mason Crane here. Rossington 38 from 19, Pepper 19 from 7, and Crane, who got those 3 wickets of a top of the Middlesex innings the other night, and bowling pretty well at the moment. In he comes from the Graham Gooch end. He bowls a flat one, and that's a hit. Would have been a very simple catch to mid-off, but there was none. It goes up towards long off, and there's a single for Pepper. But of course, Essex now can just rein themselves in a little bit if they want to, but they've got 9 wickets in hand. The target's only 92, and what looked a tricky chase at the moment is looking fairly comfortable. 75 for 1 in the 7th. Crane again, flat one, bowls to Rossington. This is good batting, pushing it into the gap, looking for a second, hitting it with no pace. Very, very well done indeed. It's going to be a tight second run, but it was well run, and that's a very good bit of batting from Adam Rossington. We're out of the power play with big gaps on the leg side, hit it with no pace, and there's 2s out there, and that was brilliantly executed. And he goes along to 40 from 20 balls, and it's 77 for 1 in the 7th. Here's Crane again. Bowls, and Rossington again playing it into a gap on the onside. Probably another, well, actually probably hit that a bit too hard. I was saying another 2, but actually he probably hit it a bit harder than he would have wanted to for what he was intending. He either had to hit it much harder to get 4, or with a little bit less pace to get 2. He sort of fell in between the 2 stools in the end and got 1 between long on and deep mid wicket running round. But it's another pretty decent over for Essex, and not being over aggressive against Crane, interestingly, but they're still milking runs. As Crane bowls again, and off the back foot, that's driven firmly to short extra cover, and there's no run. It's 166 for 8 Glamorgan, Essex 78 for 1 ball short of the end of the 7th over. Crane turning from the Hayes close end, looking for the wicket that Glamorgan desperately need at this point. He comes in to bowl, and this is hit by Pepper over cover for 1 bounce 4 to the boundary, and the supporters in there waving their 4 flags, delighted with that, and been a pretty respectable over from Crane, but the boundary at the end of it again makes it another over firmly in the Essex column. 82 for 1 after 7. The run rate required 6.5. Rossington 41. Pepper going along with him well at the other end on 20, and they're making it look very easy at the moment, Tony. Yeah, that was a pretty good over from Mason Crane, apart from that last ball there. It looked a bit more like the way Glamorgan batted against Essex bowling, but yeah, failed to get any control since Tim van der Houten's first over, dropping Dean Elgar. Did skid it onto Adam Rossington's bat, but since that, I mean, there's been no control with the Glamorgan bowling. So it looks like Manus Labuschagne's coming on now, another leg spinner, so we'll see if he can improve things. From the Glamorgan point of view, yes, they need something to happen fairly quickly. It might be that Manus Labuschagne can get a surprise wicket here. They do need something to go in their favour fairly quickly here, as this one is hit away along the ground out towards deep mid wicket for a single by Rossington. Goes to 42, 83 for 1 just into this, the 8th over, chasing down 167, doing so fairly comfortably at the moment. But can the Australian make something happen here with his leg breaks? They do need something fairly quickly here, Glamorgan. Ups the wicket from the Alistair Cook end. There's a good delivery. There's a sweep away just past the square leg umpire for a single. And as I say, not being over aggressive against the spinners at the moment, these two. Having got those 2 big overs against Van der Hoogten, they probably don't need to, Tony.
No, they need Glamorgan's problem. They had a lot of dots, we said, didn't we, early in their innings, or right the way through. So they're taking the singles.
Yeah, that one's hit away. It's a big hit. That's going up towards deep, wide, long on. And wait for the umpire's signal. It is 6. He's got hold of that one. Just picked that up off length. And a very fine shot, and this is a great innings from Rossington. 48 from 23 is matching what Ingham did earlier on, and it's building match-winning potential. This. Here he comes again and hits this one away. That is going to be 6 over long off, I think, or is it going to be into the fielder's hands? It is. Well, I thought that was going to carry, but it hasn't. Well, that could be the turning point that Glamorgan need. It looked like he had enough to get that over the long off boundary, just out of our sight, but it hasn't quite carried, and the long off fielder out of our sight has taken it. So Rossington goes for 48, and it's 90 for 2 in the 8th over. Might have come too late that for Glamorgan, but that could be potentially a turning point. Looked to have enough on it, but the long off there was able to take the catch. We didn't get a view of the catch because our view was obscured by the stand, but that could be an important turning point. We're going to see a replay now, see how it looked to me initially as they got enough on that. And actually, it's a really good catch, running round at long off, taking it in the end quite straight behind the bowler's arm. And in the end, oh yes, we thought he had to take it pretty high there, McIlroy, but did very well indeed. It almost had an off on it, but not quite. 90 for 2.
Yeah, that's a big wicket for Glamorgan, because Adam Roston was taking the game away from them. And about another yard on that, and that was 6, wasn't it?
Yeah, so Labuschagne has got the bonus wicket. Can he get another one from Glamorgan's point of view, which is what they could really do with? But Cox is in great form. Cox off the back foot, hits it away into the offside infield gap, up towards the sweeper, and collects a single to get up and running straight away. Well, Rossington will be annoyed with himself, but my initial thought was he had enough on that, but McIlroy did extremely well on the replay there, taking it, I think, round about shoulder high in the end. A very well judged catch. 91 for 2 in the 8th, so 116 wicket 1, and a good end to the over. That was a fizzing leg break. We haven't seen too much turn so far, so much turn from the Glamorgan spinners, but that one did turn. And it's a good end to the over from Labuschagne. I think we're going to see a bit more of Crane and Labuschagne together here. Just exerting a little bit of control. 91 for 2 after 8. Pepper 25 from 12, and Cox with a single. Yeah, perhaps a couple more wickets needed here from the Morgan point of view. Now at the Oval, Sussex 213 for 7, Surrey 148 for 6. They may not have paced their run chase there as they would have wanted, because they've surely left themselves with too much to do. 66 from 20 balls. Ollie Poper's 81 from 47, but that looks a really tough ask. 66 from 20 as they try and make it 4 wins out of 4 against Sussex, as this is played defensively by Cox against Crane. And as we were indicating, we thought it might get a bit cooler late in the evening, and Tony's just put his jacket on just to illustrate that, and I put my jacket on. A few jackets being put on down beneath us as well. It's not quite a flaming June yet, is it? 91 for 2 in the 9th over. This was a good bit of turn there from Crane. Quick single. He wasn't quite sure where that was at one point, Cox. Oh, there's going to be another misfield and another overthrow. That could count against Glamorgan in the end. Just the one this time. But Crane is frustrated with that, because these are needless extra runs being given away. They haven't bowled the wides at Essex bowled, but they are giving away a few with overthrows.
Well, the one that went for 5 was legitimate. There was a run out opportunity. That one I think he should have just held. Yeah. There was the batter was home.
Crane bowls, and Cox on the reverse sweep hits it and straight into the hands of backward point. That's the spinner's doing well here for Glamorgan, and that's a big wicket, because he's been in great form as Cox. He went on the reverse sweep, hit it very firmly and low, and that's a good take as well, because it came to the fielder quickly. Back-to-back wickets for the Glamorgan spinners. 93 for 3 in the 9th. Essex still favourites, but Glamorgan just getting something of a foothold with the spinners here, Tony.
Yeah, they played it really well, Essex, because they must have chatted about getting ahead of the game in the first 6, because straight away, you know, the spinners are starting to make it a different game. You know, they've gone for 9 and 9 the first 2, but there's been wickets. So yeah, it's good. It's still Essex have got a little bit ahead, but there's still a lot to play for in this game.
Yeah, it was a good low catch that, because it was travelling quite firmly. Got a pretty good connection there, Cox, but that was well taken by North East. Low down, and doesn't drop too many. So, yeah. Now Paul Walter's come out. So looking at this Essex lineup here, Walter coming in ahead of Critchley. Pepper still there, of course, and in great form, 25 from 12. So Walter, Critchley, Sams. Glamorgan ideally need a couple more wickets fairly quickly to put pressure on that lower order. There's still plenty of batting there, but a couple of wickets have now gone down. Crane is on the board, and he's got a slip in, Ingram, which is always a good sign for a spinner, I think, in the T20 match. He comes into bowl to a left-handed Walter, who stretches forward and plays it for a run just to the left of Crane, and therefore Crane actually shies at the stumps and hits, but actually Walter's already in his ground by the time Crane releases the ball. But enthusiasm from Crane, 1 for 12, and it's 94 for 3, and we've got 73 required, and there's 11 overs and 2 balls to go. It's nicely poised. Essex favourites, but not to the extent they were a few minutes ago.
No, I'd agree with that. Those wickets make a big difference.
Here's Crane again. It's a flat one, hit up towards long off, and that one has got enough carry. And is it going to be Michael Pepper who does it again for Essex? Whereas we thought that Rossington had him at last over, no doubt that time. He really got hold of that, did Michael Pepper, and he's hit it for 6 straight down the ground. It's another fine effort from a man who struggled, of course, in the early weeks of the season in the Championship and initially in this competition, but he's gone along to 31 now in quick time. And Crane bowls to him, and he's played it on! And that was a bit of turn, I think, that did for him there. He was reaching for that bit of turn, and he's played it onto his, I think, leg and middle stump. Be a fascinating replay that, but this game was alive here. 100 for 4, 2 wickets of Pepper in the over, and I think that must have turned Tony, and it's fooled him in the shot, and he's played it onto his stumps.
Yeah, I think it was a short ball, wasn't it? And he's got stuck in the pitch as well. He was through his shot before the ball came, and it wasn't a particularly great ball, but certainly, on this pitch, anything that does a little bit different when you're looking to hit boundaries like Pepper was, you're gonna mistime things. And just watching it back here, it was quite a short ball, and he was through his shot.
Yeah, very interesting. Was it the bounce that deceived him as well? Because in the end, he sort of played it on. He was trying to flick it away through mid-wicket, and he's played it on to sort of leg and middle stump. So, this is a good comeback here from Glamorgan. We were thinking, is it too late? Well, the asking rate is fine for Essex, 67 off at 6.1 and over, but the 4 wickets now a little bit of a concern, and it's the spin double act that's doing the job. Is there a third spinner there for Glamorgan?
Colin Ingram.
Right.
I think the leg spin looks like it's biting more than the off spin of Harmer, so maybe...
Interesting, yes, because he was quite expensive. This is hit in the air, just past short mid-wicket, and there's going to be a couple of runs there. That could have been another wicket straight away there. Walter there hitting it a little bit too close for comfort, I think, to Kieran Carlson in there at straight mid-wicket and getting a couple of runs, but pressure being applied by the spinners. Walter has 3. 10 overs and 5 balls to go, 65 to win, no problem there, but 4 wickets down. Labuschagne bowls, and this is hit in the air and very well caught at short mid-wicket. He was almost out in exactly the same way to the previous delivery. That was just wide of Carson. This time it went straight to him, and Essex are losing wickets quickly here. What a comeback from the Glamorgan spinners. It's 102 for 5 in the 10th, and they need 65, but only 5 wickets left, and this game very much on an even keel now, Tony.
Yeah, it was, like I said, they got it well ahead of the game, Essex, in that first 6. But since the spinners have come on, they've been taking chances and getting boundaries, but also losing wickets heavily. And 5 wickets now. We're in the 10th over. It's resources are getting thin. Let's put it that way. So still there. As you said, run rate isn't the issue here now. But on this pitch, it's difficult to work those ones, and Essex's chase really has been revolved around boundaries, not around singles. So, it's difficult, and Glamorgan will feel it right back in the hunt.
Well, Daniel Sams is out there now, and he's going to be facing Manus Labuschagne, and we have a situation where the Glamorgan spinners have really put their side back into this contest without a shadow of a doubt. It's been very, very good indeed, and they've created pressure. So Matt Critchley, who we haven't mentioned, has come in, and He's still waiting to get involved. He's the non-striker, and at the other end is Daniel Sams. This is a pretty big partnership here. Essex 102 for 5, and Sams just goes back and plays defensively, and perhaps quite wisely at this stage, back down the pitch, and there's no run. Break this partnership. There's still some useful batting to come, but they'll feel that this is a big partnership to break here, I think, Tony, from the Glamorgan point of view. This one is, it pops up off the bat and runs down towards backward square leg, and they go through for a single, but again, it's evidence of a bit of turn, and Labuschagne proving quite a danger here at the moment.
Yeah, the issue Essex have got at the moment, they've got 2 batters, well, they were on naught. Do they stick or twist? Because they've big shots played, but they've got to put a partnership together here, and it's not easy to get singles. So Glamorgan will be hoping to squeeze now with this spin over the next 2 or 3 overs.
Here's Labuschagne again, bowls and off the back foot. This is driven away through the mid-off gap for a single. I think, yeah, it's a pretty good bet, isn't it, that these two are going to bowl their 4 overs, and it's a question of whether we see any further spin in addition to that. 1 ball left of a 10th over, 63 off 10, no problem at all. The issue is the 5 wickets, and the last 4 have come very quickly. Flatter one, clubbed away, 4 runs, no, it's going to be going out to deep cover, and it's just the one. He hit that a little bit squarer than I thought initially, so it would have been a really useful boundary for Samson. He got it, but it's just the one, and actually that makes it a pretty good over for Glamorgan. 2 for 14 Labuschagne from 2, 2 for 18 for Crane for 2 overs. Sams has got 2, Critchley has got 1, 105 for 5, 62 off 10 overs. It's now shaping up into quite a contest, and Glenn to come back in just a few moments.
Yeah, excellent game now, excellent game. It's swung back and forth, you know, with Glamorgan really struggling at the front of their innings, and then what I believe got a very good score, 166. Essex came out swinging and had a brilliant start, and now Glamorgan have pegged them back with these 5 wickets. So all to play for, and anyone's guess.
This next one is lobbed up to long on. This is going to be another wicket. And Essex have lost another wicket, and it's Daniel Sams who's gone this time. Lofting it straight up to long on and straight down his throat. Seemed a rather unnecessary shot, and Essex are tossing this one away at the moment. You know that sportsman's bet you made with me last time I was on? I bet you're wishing you'd put money on it now, aren't you?
Well, it's just that it's been difficult to play what I would say normal cricket and get runs on this. It's been very much boundaries and wickets. The whole both innings have been like that, and once the spinners come on, you know, Essex have carried on looking to play big shots, and that's the risk you take, and 6 wickets out. So now, even though it's only a run a ball for 9 overs, that's a difficult ask with only 4 wickets left in the shed.
Essex have lost 5 wickets for 15 runs. Our scorer David Jackman pipes up behind us. Mason Crane's got 3 for 18 now, and you have to say, maybe just a couple of these Essex shots, they've just lost their heads because they'd got ahead of the game. It was well within their spectrum just to get the job done, just by playing relatively normal cricket. Now it's going to need a tidy hand from probably the captain Simon Harmer alongside Matt Critchley. Harmer it is who's come in and picked up a single off his first delivery. 106 for 6. So Essex still need another 61 runs here. I mean, there's 58 balls remaining, but the problem is it's the wickets column. Mason Crane 3 for 19, and Matt Critchley knows now that he's going to have to do a bulk of the work, more than capable, as Crane comes into him now on the full. Oh, and Critchley goes for the sweep. Big shout for LBW here. Turned down very quickly. I think the fact he was going for the sweep tells you it was angling down leg side.
Yeah, but it's the atmosphere's changed a little bit. I think a lot of the crowd thought Essex were home and hosed after the first 6 overs, but these wickets have really turned the tide, and Glamorgan, as I said, they're looking to squeeze now.
Crane in and bowls to Critchley, who waits for that one. He's got an edge. He's gone. He's gone. Mason Crane is doing the job for Glamorgan here. He's got rid of Matt Critchley now. 4 for 19 for him. And Essex have lost 6 wickets for 16 runs and are nose-diving towards defeat here when they had the game in the palm of their hands, unless the tail can wag significantly. Simon Harmer, Shane Snater, Luke Benkenstein and Aaron Beard, the men who are going to have to do the job here. But it's the spinners, like in the Essex innings, slowed things up for Glamorgan. They were struggling to score, but it's the spinners that are getting Glamorgan into this game and getting them ahead of the game and have got themselves into a winning position.
Yeah, that was amazing. You know, when you look at 73 for 1 off 6, you know, and we went back to Glamorgan with 40 off. I think they were 40 off 5 overs. No, sorry, 40 off 8 overs at 5 and over, and then all of a sudden they take 37 off 3 in that middle period. So it's been chop and change, and boundaries and wickets. That's what this game's been about. Very difficult to manoeuvre the ball on this pitch for comfortable singles.
Problems for Essex. There's this first delivery to the new batter. He's pushed out to the onside for no run. Luke Benkenstein, incidentally, is the new man in for Essex. He's come in ahead of Snater. And if Essex bat out, you would think they win the game, but you wouldn't bet on them batting out the way they're playing. Crane is in again. He's on a 5 for here. Benkenstein works that one into the onside. There's only a single here as Long On comes in off the fence. 107 for 7, so exactly 60 runs required by Essex from 54 balls. But only 3 wickets in hand, and that's the end of a very, very good over from Mason Crane. 4 for 20 from 3 for him here. And I think Essex, like you say, Tony, thought they'd done the bulk of the job. The way Adam Rossington was going, smashing it to all parts, and Michael Pepper coming in as well. But it was the wicket of Rossington that sort of perpetuated some shots from Essex that they'll look back on and think, well, why didn't I just keep my head and just play normal cricket?
I'm just looking at that since the power play, 24 for 6 off 5. That's Essex.
Essex in trouble. Glamorgan right on top here. Colin Ingram is bowling from this Sir Alistair Cook end, bowling to Critchley, who works that into the onside for a single. Glamorgan looking to make it 3 wins on the bounce. Essex looking to get a second win in succession for them and make it a 2-2 start to the blast. As Ingram is into the Essex skipper Simon Harmer, who plays and misses at that one. A hop and a skip from Carlson at cover. He thought maybe Harmer had got a snick on that one, but he hadn't. It's good bowling again though. The point again, it's a U strip that we're using. It was used for the Middlesex game last Sunday. As Harmer goes on the reverse sweep and will pick up a couple of runs here and possibly 4. Yes, the man at square can't get round. Reverse sweep from Simon Harmer. He picks up a much needed boundary and the score goes to 112 for 7. 55 more runs needed from 51.
Interesting one. If you're at the home side, you win the toss and you know it's a used wicket. Interesting that you give Glamorgan first dibs on it.
Yeah. Essex like to chase. I think that's probably the forefront of their minds than anything else. Ingram into Harmer, he watches that one carefully and works it in front of square on the onside. Picks up another single. 113 for 7. Sensible cricket from the Essex captain, because what he's seen before him has been Essex hitting the self-destruct button on more than one occasion. Ingram just spinning himself a couple of catches just while they adjust the field here for Critchley, feeling maybe that he might want to go for the big shot. Ingram in, bowls to Critchley, and he does heave that one away into the onside. Has he got enough distance on it? Yes, he has, and it's gone for, well, the umpire doesn't know. Essex are still running because the fielder has made out that he's kept the ball in play down there. There's no boos from the crowd, which will tell you if they felt the ball had gone over the boundary. So actually, I think it might be a really good piece of fielding, and the umpires are now in conjunction with the fielder about whether he manages to keep the ball in or not. Long discussion. Trouble is, the ball disappeared from our view under the lip of the Tom Pearce stand away to our right hand side. Umpires coming together here, just watching the replay as it was flipped back into play. It's Luke Benkenstein who struck the shot. Matt Critchley rather, who struck the shot out to deep.
3, I think they've gone for that.
Taking 3 runs, yeah. In the end, they're saying he did manage to flip the ball back into play, so that took a while to settle as we get back underway with Ingram and Harmer pushing that one into the onside, and this time that is definitely a single and no more than that. Yeah, just replayed it a couple of times on our screen here. 2 fielders converging on the ball. It does look like he flipped it back in, and he wasn't in contact with the ball before his feet hit the ground the other side of the boundary. So End of the over, slight confusion there from everyone. 10 from the over, and Essex requiring 167 for victory, or 117 for 7, 50 needed from 48 balls remaining.
Good game, isn't it?
Yep.
No wickets left, hardly. Nothing much left in the tank there, but runs per over quite comfortable, you'd think, on most pitches. But yeah, I'm not so sure. Manus Labuschagne, why he came off there. I would have kept the two of them on for 4 overs, killed the game personally, you know, because they were bowling really well together. But yeah, interesting one. And I think yeah, Manus Labuschagne's replacing Crane, keeping one of his back, you know, so they're spreading the spin basically. Glamorgan.
Labuschagne from the Graham Gooch end, that's cut away by Harmer, but he'll get no more than the single, which is all they really need. 118 for 7. It's just normal cricket from this point onwards, but
I'm not so sure you can get 6 singles though.
Game
that's
situation,
yeah.
Scoreboard pressure of knowing you're the one that's got to get the job done. Decent bowling as well as Labuschagne. More round arm from that one, and it's a swing and a miss from Benkenstein. And it's gone down to the boundary for 4 runs.
Yeah, it was. I think it might have been a bottom edge. Was it past the keeper? Potentially.
He's got something, hasn't he? He's got something.
I think it was a cut shot, wasn't it? It's he's chopped back, I think.
It's come off the toe of the bat. I thought it was a swing and a miss initially, but yeah, it's the under toe of the bat that's taken it past the keeper. It's 4 runs. That's all that matters. This next one, cut away by Benkenstein in front of square, and they go for the single. That's actually got Essex ahead now because they require 44 from 45. So they've got themselves ahead of the game again. That clatter of wickets, including Critchley being bowled as well by Crane. Sam's out, caught in the deep. This next one from Harmer is driven back and Corn bowled.
That's a great catch.
It's a great reaction catch from Manus Labuschagne, and that's a huge wicket now, and Glamorgan will feel it's a matter of time. 123 for 8, Essex.
That was a magnificent catch, you have to say. It was hit straight back at Manus Labuschagne, but that was hit so hard, and you could tell by his reaction how good a catch it was as well. Yeah, it's just to and fro in this game, isn't it? You know, Essex have had 2 good overs there, where they've scored I think 17 off 3 overs there. But you know, wickets are everything in you know, this game. It's been boundaries, wickets, and Glamorgan now with only 2 to get, and 44 runs for Essex, even though it's at less than run a ball. You know, your money's got to be on Glamorgan. My sportsman bet looks a bit better than yours.
Safe, doesn't it?
Well, I don't know about safe. I wouldn't. The way this game's gone, I wouldn't say safe, but it's just back and forth.
Again, you look at the shot from Simon Harmer, and yeah, I get it, and what the match situation is, and he feels the ball is there to be hit. But as you say, they'd had that good couple of overs, and he's trying to hit the cover of it. And Shane Snater is the new man in. Now he's played some very good hands for Essex down the years, and they need him more than ever now. They still need another 44 runs for victory from 44 balls, but now only 2 wickets standing. They have collapsed. Labuschagne is into Snater, who drives up to long off all the way along the carpet, and will pick up a single. 124 for 8.
Do you know the common theme though? I keep saying it's been very difficult. You say play proper cricket, but you can't get 6 singles. Get 3, but that's not enough. You know, that's why the big shots are being played.
Labuschagne into Benkenstein now, who hits that in the air just over the man at extra cover, and they should pick up a couple of runs here as long off has to come herring round. He's a very lucky young man, Luke Benkenstein. Picks up 2, he goes to 12, and the score to 126 for 8. End of the over as well. Another successful one for Glamorgan, who started so slowly way back when in the sunshine here on a sticky pitch. It looked like they were going to struggle to get anything near a challenging total. They got themselves to 166 in the end, but you still had Essex down as favourites, particularly the way they started with Rossington, Elgar and Pepper all up front. But since then, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 batters all out for single figures, and they're 126 for 8.
Yeah, 7 to spin. 7 to spin. That's a solitary one to Jamie McElroy, Dean Elgar. So yeah, but it's still, you know, as you said, it's still less than run a ball. So it's just whether people can get the singles without taking any chances.
This one's flipped into the onside. There should only be the single here as two fielders converge on the ball. Colin Ingram is back on from the Sir Alistair Cook end. Yeah, and you conversely in the Glamorgan innings, just the one wicket fell to spin. And that was Carlson after bowling a Critchley. The rest went to seam of the 8 which were taken. Ingram bowling to Benkenstein, who waits for that one, works it into the onside and picks up another single. And a few people clapping and a couple of ironic jeers as well, as if to say, well, that's all you need to do. 39 from 40 required. Ingram, right arm over. In and bowling to Shane Snater. Snater goes back on his stumps and hits it in the air again, but it's a safe shot as Labuschagne comes in from long on and does the fielding. Another single accrues, 129 for 8. And Glamorgan need to take the wickets. If they don't take the wickets, Essex will win. Ingram in. That's pulled away in the air down towards Cow Corner, and that will go the distance for 6 runs. A very, very good blow that from Luke Benkenstein. 135 for 8 is the Essex score. They need another 32 runs for victory.
Yeah, poor ball, lad. It didn't look like he put much on it as well, Ingram, to try and spin it. I think on this pitch you've got to bowl your best ball. It's turning as a leg spinner. You've got to get it up and make them drive you. And put something on it, because that's where you get the false shots. That was just halfway down. It didn't look like there was much on the ball at all, and helped himself over wide long on for 6.
Doesn't need any more big shots now as Ingram comes in. That's a full toss and it's hit along the ground by Benkenstein. Out to Cow Corner once again. It's not going to be 4. It's a good piece of fielding down there. Sliding stop, and a slide stop and a throw, which prevents any more than the single. 136 for 8. 31 from 37 required for Essex. 2 more wickets for Glamorgan. Ingram is in and bowling to Snater again. Just picks up the single. And Glamorgan are going to have to try to do something to stop this. Otherwise Essex will win, because they only need 30 from 36 now. It is the end of the over. 11 from it. That was a big, big shot from Luke Benkenstein in that over. 137 for 8. 6 overs remaining. 30 overs required. If you're the Glamorgan captain here, what are you thinking? What are you doing?
Well, I don't think Ingram should be bowling the next over. I mean, I was quite surprised they pulled Crane off and Manus. You know, I would have bowled the 8 together there, and let's see where we are. You're 8 wickets down. Let's see where you are. You know, put your best bowlers on the night, and that. So Crane's back on, but those 2 overs of Colin Ingram have leaked 21 runs, and potentially I think I would have bowled him out, Crane and Labuschagne. If you're good enough, win the game then.
Well, they brought Crane back on to see whether he can work just one more bit of magic. He's in and bowling, and Snater just pushes up one out to deep mid-wicket and picks up the single. 138 for 8, so the equation's below 30 now required. Crane with 4 for 21, hauled his side back into this game. Can he finish the job for Glamorgan? He's bowling to young Luke Benkenstein. In he comes now, and Benkenstein off the back foot forces out to the offside and picks up another single. 139 for 8. 28 required from 34 balls.
I will say Benkenstein has played very, very well. You'd have to say, you know, because he's come in and he's looked as if he's quite controlled. You know, he's hit the bad ball.
He's only a young man. And he's watching on as Snater faces up now, and Snater drives up to long on. There'll just be a single there as well, and every run being cheered by this Essex faithful. 140 for 8, bowled really well last week at Bristol, did Luke Benkenstein. One of the highlights of what was a poor evening down there in the southwest, and didn't disgrace himself at Somerset either. He's facing up to Crane once again. Crane comes in, gives that plenty of air, and Benkenstein again up to long on, picks up another single. Just 2 more balls left of this Mason Crane effort. 141 for 8, a further 26 runs required from Essex, 32 balls to spare. They're going to bring Ingram into that short mid-wicket area now, just to try to cut off that single there. Glamorgan seems silly, doesn't it, given the last 20-25 minutes that they've had, but they need a wicket. Crane is in and bowling to Snater, who waits and lets that one go past the off stump. And 1 more ball to come of Mason Crane's effort this evening in Chelmsford. got his side into a position where they feel they can win this game now as Mason Crane. And what can he do with his final delivery? He's in and he bowls, and that is hit in the air but wide of the man, but short mid-wicket by Shane Snater, and they come through for the single. And that is 15 overs gone now here on BBC Essex and BBC Radio Wales, and Essex 142 for 8, chasing 167 for victory, and Nick will come in after a few words from Tony.
Yeah, magnificent bowling from Mason Crane there. He's gone 4 for 25 off his 4 overs, and listen, it could go either way this game, but ultimately I just think Glamorgan might have missed a trick there by not bowling Manus Labuschagne and Crane straight through.
Yes.
Those 2 Ingram overs went for 21.
Yep.
Did we need to bowl them? I don't think so at that particular time, but still, game on. And Tim van der Houten is on with his 2 overs for 43, drop catch, miss run out, everything going wrong.
Because my question to you was, what's left for Glamorgan, given that Van der Houten, obviously they've got McElroy another over, I think. Doothwaite's only bowled 1, I think. But I do take your point. There's a slight pressure release there. They absolutely had Essex on toast for those 2, didn't they, with that superb combination between Crane and Labuschagne. Now, here is Van der Houten coming in to bowl. It's a good delivery first up. It's got a bit of bounce that. It's gone through to the keeper. Play and a miss. And what it means now, 25 from 29. But it's 8 wickets down. I think it was 7 wickets and 31 balls, David was telling us. David Jackman, our scorer. A remarkable collapse against the spinners here. Essex had the game won. Glamorgan arguably had the game won. Now it's still Glamorgan probably favourites, but of course it's not a daunting asking rate, just 5.2. Here is Van der Houten bowling a big swing there, swing and a miss. And he's trying to connect here, Snater, big time to get it down the ground for a boundary, but he's not made any contact with that. So still 25 now, 28 to go. 2 wickets in hand, 142 for 8. Some big results tonight. Surrey have lost. Somerset have lost. So a great chance for Glamorgan to go joint top of the table if they can win this game. Fantastic performance by Kent, more about that against Somerset, more about that in a moment. Very good performance by Sussex against Surrey. Here's a clubbing drive which has come off the in half of the bat and gone not where he was intending, but it's gone down towards fine leg for a single. He was trying to hit that through mid-wicket. It went off sort of like the inside half of the bat. He's got a run, but it's 24 now from 27 at 143 for 8. And Benkenstein has batted with a calm head on young shoulders, 22 from 12. How's he going to approach things here? Tidy over from Van der Houten so far. In he comes. Bowls, hit away in the air and safe, and 1 bounce for 4. It was a genuine short ball, not a good one. He's picked it up. This really could be a very important innings for Benkenstein, who's certainly held his own in the side in the campaign so far, but he could be playing an innings that gets Essex over the line here. He's got 26 from 13. It's 147 for 8. We need 20 off 26. The asking rate is no problem, but just the 2 wickets in hand. Van der Houten bowls again to Benkenstein, who hits it away off the back foot, down towards backward point for 4. What a really good shot that was. It was a ball that was just a little bit wide and off stump, and he went on to the back foot and he hit it wide of the man northeast at backward point, and the boundary fielder couldn't get round to it. What a hand this is from Luke Benkenstein. 30 off 14, 151 for 8, 16 from 25.
Yeah, Tim van der Houten's having a bad day, isn't he?
Yes,
but
it was looking a bit better this over. It's gone wrong again for him. Poor chap, it's not been his day. 151 for 8. In he comes to bowl again, and Benkenstein does the right thing here, but that one isn't there for the shot. He's just played a defensive stroke. That's all he needs to do, and Essex have got hope again. And as I say, a night where Somerset and Surrey are both lost, it would be important for either of these sides to get this win here. 151 for 8, 16 runs. The asking rate is no problem at all. 4 overs, 24 balls, 2 wickets left, but this partnership has given Essex hope. That was a really important point. Maybe Glamorgan just letting Essex back a little bit with the 2 overs from Ingram. They could have brought back one of the seamers at that point, or perhaps bowled Crane and Labuschagne through and then brought back a seamer.
I definitely think that was the case. They had them on, as I said, Glamorgan had Essex onto the 8 down. They had 3 overs between the 2 of them to bowl. I think that was the way forward. But that's a decision that's made, and hindsight's a wonderful thing. But Manus back on, yeah.
Manus, the bowler, who's caused chaos tonight, and he bowled a pretty good one. It was a stifled shot for LBW there, as that one just turned into Snater. Snater here, well, he's got to 8 off 12. It's not he's a few swings, a few sort of pushes for ones. How's he going to go here? It's 16 from 23 required. He goes on the back foot, plays a good-looking shot away through cover. Is it going to be stopped? It's not. It's 4 runs, and Essex have got real hope again now, because they only need another 12 runs. 12 from 22, and this partnership has rescued Essex from a most desperate position after 7 wickets went in 31 balls. This pair have pulled things around with generally sensible batting, and now the always is played away from 4. I think another 4. It's a fortuitous 4, but it's run down off the face of the bat. I don't know if it was intentional, but it's just gone past the keeper and away for 4, and suddenly Essex are favourites. 8 to win from 21 balls, and Glamorgan need to break this partnership. Maybe a little bit fortuitous, that one. I think it was just a little bit of luck there. He snuck that one past the off stump, past the keeper, got it away for 4. But 8 from 21, and suddenly Essex are favourites again, because they only need 8 runs. Here's Labuschagne bowling again, and Snater plays a bit of a wild shot, but he's going to get 4 more runs. I'd be interested if he got any contact at all on that. He did. He got a faint edge on it. He was trying to drive it away down the ground. Labuschagne hands on hips, but well, what a story this is, because these two have rescued Essex from what was looking like oblivion in this match. And Snater, one way or another, has got 3 consecutive boundaries. I'm not sure how much bat he got on that one, but he's gone to 20 from 15. It's 4 required, 20 balls left. That's irrelevant. 2 wickets left, and Essex now suddenly, thanks to this cameo from Snater, look like they're going to win.
Yeah, absolutely. Two edges there. Good cut shot though, I have to say, through cover point. But yeah, they've hung in, haven't they? We talked about partnerships as well throughout this match.
Well, they got Maslip in. Maslip could have stopped the last 2 as a fielder. 159 for 8, 4 to win. Snater is...
He's dropped him.
Goodness me, it's Ingram.
Dropped it.
We were talking about the slip coming in as a fielder. The very first ball, he could have caught Snater, and he's dropped it. He juggled it.
Wow.
Goodness me, it's all happening here. 4 to win, and Snater off the back foot gets a very good delivery, which turns, and Labuschagne looking as intent as if he was playing a test match for Australia against England. He's put everything into that. He'll be disappointed with the runs that have come. He knows he had a bit of bad luck in that over. A drop catch, certainly the couple of the 4s were a bit fortuitous for Snater, but Essex are in the box seat again. What a good partnership as this has been, and what a calm head on young shoulders for Luke Benkenstein. We need 4 to win. The number of balls left is almost irrelevant. There's a full 3 overs to go, but Glamorgan had that chance there to take the catch.
Well, it's been an amazing game of cricket, because that catch there with 4 to win with 1 wicket left reminds me of 4 to win in 1997.
Yeah, well, we haven't had a chance to talk about it. Your runnable 56, the century from Steve James, the game ending the following day, the classic 1997 Glamorgan Essex 60 over. Remember 60 over cricket semi-final? It was too dark to finish the game. Wonderful match which Tony was part of and played a big part in the Glamorgan innings. 163 for 8, 4 from 18 balls. Here is Doothwaite coming in to bowl to Benkenstein, who plays a quite orthodox shot. He knows the situation, he knows that ball is not there to hit. He's just played it calmly up to mid-on. What a calm and sensible innings this has been from the youngster.
I have to say, it'll be the making of him if he gets you home here, because it's a massive knock under pressure from a position of 123 for 8,
coming in a situation of absolute chaos in the Essex innings, as Crane and Labuschagne were running through Essex, and he's batting with such maturity. Here's Doothwaite, bolt to him, he pulls it away, it's going up towards deep square leg, it's 1. It's 1. At one point I thought he was going to hole out, but no, Gorvin for a moment thought that might have been a catch, but it fell short of him. It's 1, there's 3 to win. So the number of balls at the moment left doesn't matter, it's 16, but Benkenstein almost holed out there.
It's not Tim's night. Oh no, Dowswade, sorry, Dowswade. It's Dowswade, could have holed out, yeah. But amazing game.
Yeah, I think they decided it's not Van der Hoekton's night. They're probably quite wise for him not to bowl this over, the way it's been going generally for him tonight. So 3 from 16 balls. Here's Douthwaite to bowl, and it's another defensive shot, this time from Snater. This has been a remarkable game, it really has. I mean,
ebbed and flowed doesn't do it justice, really.
I'll take your point. It really has been. It's kept the crowd on the edge of their seats. Glamorgan will be frustrated, having completely demolished the Essex middle order. You will not see that happen at Chelmsford very often. They ran through them with the 2 spinners, but they offered a slight escape route, we think. Now here is Douthwaite coming into bowl with 3 to win. Oh, that's well pitched up, a really good delivery, and there's no run there. Benkenstein thought there might be. He was up in the block hole, and Snater in the end happy just to see that cannon back down the pitch. 164 for 8, 3 from 14. Benkenstein 31, Snater 20. Glamorgan go joint top if they win. Essex go to 4 points from 4 games if they win. Wow, what a match this has been. Oh, I see, England have lost to Iceland again. That's happened before, hasn't it? 164 for 8. Oh, that's well pitched up and hit on the bounce up towards mid-wicket, and there's no run. It's been a very unorthodox innings from Snater. Benkenstein has played quite orthodox cricket, hasn't he? Snater, you never know quite what he's going to do next. He's got away with it. But 3 from 13. Snater on 20. And what a match this has been. 3 to win, 13 balls, Snater on 20, and these two have rescued Essex from oblivion when the middle order fell apart against the spinners. Here's Douthwaite again, up to the wicket, bowls, and this is just pushed up towards mid-wicket quite calmly by Snater. He hits it up to the mid-wicket as if it's no bother at all. He stays there on 20. Benkenstein's got 31. There's still 3 to win with 2 overs to go, and yeah, it has been quite a remarkable game where you never know quite what is going to be happening next. But the basic story of this innings, it was at one point 90 for 1. It then was 123 for 8 when Harmer was out, 106 for 7 when Critchley went, and these two have taken it up from 123 to 164.
I tell you what I'd like to have seen. I'd like to have seen a betting company, right, giving the odds all the way through this game, because it's gone back and forth, where there's been firm favourites on both sides, maybe 2 or 3 times each.
I can tell you, I had a quick look, and Essex were overwhelming favourites at the start of the innings, which I don't think either of us would have agreed with at the very start of their innings.
No.
Yeah, it has been some match, it really has. So 3 from 12. I made the point, the games here between these two sides tend to be better, more memorable than the ones at Cardiff, for whatever reason it is. And well, is it Ingram?
Ingram back on now.
Yeah, so it's 3 from 12. He comes into, oh, it's a very full length delivery, and it's driven by Benkenstein up towards mid-on. I think his eyes might have lit up for a moment there, and he might have been trying to think about hitting it over the short mid-wicket for the winning boundary. Now mid-on's gone back to long on. 3 from 11. Benkenstein on 31 has the strike. He goes onto the back foot, and he slightly miscues at it. Rolls up towards mid-on. His bat comes out of his hands. Interesting, Ingram coming back. What other options were there, I wonder? But
not to win the game, I think. You had to be spinned, didn't it, if you wanted to get wickets.
The other spinners have bowled out, and here onto the back foot. This is actually his best over so far. That one turns prodigiously and beats Benkenstein. It's 3 from 9. Good start from Ingram. What a game this has been. I mean, here is 3 from 9 required. And Ingram bowls, and Benkenstein hits it over the bowler's head and away to a long off boundary for 4. What a match, what an innings from young Dale Benkenstein. He's got 35, the 2 batsmen hug, and Essex, who were coasting to victory, were just completely derailed by the Glamorgan spinners. But from 123 for 8 and facing oblivion, these two have put on a partnership that has won the game and given Essex a really important victory, because had they lost this game, having been in such a strong position, it would have been a massive setback. Both sides have identical records now, Tony, 2 from 4, 2 wins from 4 games. What a great game of cricket.
Oh, it's a magnificent game of cricket, probably one of the best T20s. It says a lot, one of the best T20s I've seen, because I don't think I've ever seen a game ebb and flow like this. From the fact Glamorgan were 40 off 8 overs, Ingram played magnificently well along with Labuschagne. But I think Colin Ingram had a big part to play in 3 parts of the game, because I don't think they should have taken Crane off, and he bowled 2 overs which leaked 21 runs, and then he dropped the catch. It slipped, didn't he?
Yes.
You know, which with 4 or 5 runs to go, which was, you know, he'd be disappointed to drop that, and it just ebbed and flowed. You literally couldn't say who was going to win that game all the way through. And magnificent game of cricket, and well done Essex. I think both batting sides got good scores on what was a bowler-friendly wicket, and it just shows sometimes, doesn't it, when it's a bowler-friendly wicket, the best games of cricket happen.
Yeah, Pepper made a 31 from 14 and Washington 48 from 24 at the top. We must remember that. But then nothing at all in the middle order. And suddenly then that partnership that won the game, 45 unbeaten for the 9th wicket. Benkenstein 35 from 21, Snater 20 from 21. The key bowling for Glamorgan, Crane 4 for 25 from 4. Labuschagne 3 for 35 from 4 overs. And Essex have won by 2 wickets with 8 balls remaining. Thank you very much indeed for being with us tonight, Tony. It's been great to have you here, and hopefully we'll have as exciting a game the next time you're here as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I really enjoyed it, and like you said, all the better games between these two sides happen here, really, at Essex rather than at Cardiff. And I have to say, another brilliant game, and you know, you couldn't take your eyes off it. And well, if it's not a packed house for the next home game for Essex, well, I don't know what they've got to do.
So elsewhere, the big story I think is that victory for Kent, which is a magnificent victory. They were 37 for 4 chasing 198, but Sam Billings 106 from 58, and Kent have beaten Somerset by 4 wickets with 4 deliveries to spare, and top billing really shared between them and Sussex, who have beaten Surrey. It sounds like Surrey misjudged or mistimed their run chase there. Sussex 213 for 7 and Surrey 177 for 7. That despite Ollie Pope's 99 from 59 balls not out, but they lost by a big margin of 36 runs. Curious match, that one. Hampshire in the end getting to that low Gloucestershire target with some comfort, no real problems for them. 5 wickets they had in hand at the end, and 19 balls remaining. And in the North group, we had Lancashire winning again. That's the first defeat for the Birmingham Bears. Lancashire winning by 8 runs. Durham, I think that's their first win, beating Leicestershire by 7 wickets with 3 balls to spare. And Nottinghamshire losing again, and by a huge margin of 96 runs. What has happened to Nottinghamshire? Against Derbyshire, they're losing by 96 runs, and Worcestershire need 12 from 7 balls against Northants in a tight finish at Northampton. They have got just 2 wickets left, so similar sort of scenario to the one we had here. And yeah, absolutely terrific match here, but that result leaves Surrey on 6 and Glamorgan will be on 4, Essex will be on 4, Hampshire will have 4 points, Kent will have 4 points, I think, and Sussex will go to 4 points as well. So it's really closing up there at the top. I think that's about right, isn't it, on the table at the moment?
It's amazing.
They haven't
really,
updated the Essex one yet, but that's right. Yeah. Lovely. Thanks very much indeed, Tony. Hope you've enjoyed the coverage tonight. Glamorgan's next game, they've had 2 in 2 days, but Glamorgan will just check on what their next fixture is in the competition. And I can tell you the next Essex match is at Lords on Thursday evening of next week. So we are looking forward to that. And as I say, Glamorgan have got. Have a look and see what their next game is, but they will be in action probably at the weekend, I imagine. They've got another game coming up.
All to play for everyone. It's not as much has changed, has it? Everyone's lost a couple of
Well, welcome down to the outfield for the presentation this evening. And what a game that was. Our Woodlands Group Essex Player of the Match for his 35 not out and getting us over the line at the end. Please put your hands together for number 99, Luke Benkenstein. I'd like to welcome representatives from the Woodlands Group there. Luke, I'll grab a quick word with you. Never in doubt with that, really, was it?
Yeah, I think there were a few nerves around the camp, obviously, but we just thought if we could take it deep, we always had a chance. Obviously, not many wickets in hand, but yeah, I think that's really good for our momentum. Obviously, going to Lords next week, and hopefully we can keep this winning streak going.
And at the midway point, what was the mood? I mean, we were in a good place, seemed in control.
No, 100%. The boys got off to an absolute flyer, so I thought I wasn't going to have to get my pads on today, but obviously we were needed, and luckily, yeah, we were able to get over the line.
And we always talk about Fortress Chelmsford. How special is it for you to turn up each time? How important was the crowd for you guys tonight and getting us over that line?
No, absolutely unbelievable. The atmosphere here is always amazing, and we can always count on the fans here, so just happy we could put in that performance for them and give them that win.
Well, an outstanding performance tonight, Luke. Congratulations. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for our Woodlands Group Essex Player of the Match, Luke Benkenstein. I'd like to thank this evening as well our match sponsor, Eco Fire Protection, who have kindly supported our match this evening. Luke's going to make a presentation just over here. Thanks, guys. And that's a wrap. Another win. We're 2 from 2 in the last week. Remember, we are back in action next Friday, where we take on Sussex Sharks. Tickets are still available, so please do make sure you get yours to avoid disappointment. But other than that, thank you for your support tonight. Get home safe, and we look forward to seeing you back here very, very soon.